Hi everyone, welcome on in. Happy Monday fun day, I guess. How are y'all doing today? Hello, y'all. Happy Monday. Today is Microscopy Monday. You know the drill. We're gonna be looking at tiny worlds under a microscope. We also have the one, the only, the legendary Carlo, the stream scribe here above my head, doing live letter art. He is right there in the top corner of the screen. He is doing live letter art. So, chat, he's going to be making fancy, beautiful items. Make sure to go drop him a follow. He's live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Lovely stream scribe. Let me go ahead and welcome everyone in. Good, you can call me Cheese or Jimmy. Listen, Cheese, we have a friend named Mr. Jimmy B93. If I call you Jimmy, I'm gonna confuse myself. So I'm gonna call you Cheese, if that's right. Cheese, welcome the heck in. Again, we're gonna look at small worlds under a microscope. Again, that's our Microscopy Monday. I'm going to put up a poll of where y'all would like to start. So we usually look at two things quite heavily. Either pond water, that I just collected some new samples today, or we have ancient amber. Now the ancient amber is 30 million years old with insects in it. So depending on what y'all are feeling is where we can start. Again, we do have the amber and some pond water samples on the menu. And we will do both. Just up to y'all where. So we're gonna do ancient amber to kick it off. Let me fire up the microscope camera. Doesn't it, Crystal? It brings back pretty good memories. At least I think so. Alright, camera is ready to go. Hi, Peekaboo. Welcome in, Peekaboo Draws. Peekaboo, how you doing today, Peekaboo? We're gonna jump on over to the other chair and then ready the camera. We're gonna start looking at some ancient amber. Carlo, my friend, that looks really retro and really beautiful. It looks like, and we're going to be looking at some ancient amber underneath the microscope. This is 30 million years old, and it has a tiny insect in there, and we're going to be looking at the tiny insect and trying to figure out what it is. We also have Carlo, the stream scribe, up above my head in the top corner. He is doing live letter art, and so if you're interested, he might do some live letter art for you today. All right. Let us go ahead and see who's inside this amber. Alrighty. There we go. Now it's working. Dacum! How you do, Dacum? Dacum! Dacum! I've seen you around today, Dacum. It's never enough, Dacum. Aw. Hi, Smikes. You're inside the amber. Smikes, you're very handsome. You're very, very handsome, Smikes. Smikes, look at what Nightbot has. Chat. Nightbot. Now is a permanent sub of the channel. So when you're a partner, you get to have 2 subs for bots, and we got our bot subbed today actually, and so now it has all the emojis, and our command looks all the niceness. There we go. Here is the amber. Mama is a fan. Mama, you live, Mama. Mama, how the heck are you? How the heck are you, Mama, as a fan? Guys, go check out the lovely, amazing Mama as a fan. Mama will give you that fancy pants shout out as well. How you doing, Mama? It's great to see you. Ariella, you can see Carlo, the stream scribe, has made something beautiful for you in the top corner, right above my head. COVID, but feeling a bit better. Any idea where you caught it from, Mama? Or is it just one of those crazy flukes that could have been anywhere? Ariella, that is, that's the stream scribe above my head. He does live letter art. Oh, in Reno. Gotcha, Mama. He does live letter art, Ariella. He's coming in via video. And he does live calligraphy and letter art. He's been doing it since he was 9. Welcome back, TD. He's been doing it since he was 9 years old. And he's in the wedding industry. He does all the fancy pants things. Fortuitous travel, does it have good taste? The amber? Maybe. Possibly. Potentially? Questionably. Marianne, hi Marianne. We've missed you, Mama. Guys, also, go check out the lovely and amazing Nerduino. Nerduino, NASA Space Scientist Extraordinaire, returning from Ireland now. And back to the streaming, as it were. So, we have at least one insect in there. And it's a very cloudy sample. Let's see, Smike's being something silly. If amber was a candy flavor, what would it be? You know, not lemon, Smikes. Because it's a bit too cloudy for lemon. I almost want to be like a cough medicine yellow. Yeah, maybe yeah. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Honey? I don't know. So, Ariel, for some reason I get the feeling that it's a little bit something sickly in terms of the color. Like something's just slightly off with it. Barley? I do not know what barley sugar tastes like, Alex. I'm sure I've had it. I do not remember it. And Carlo, people are questioning whether or not you're a robot, given how beautiful that piece is. And our insect is 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 millimeters.
Together, we can rule the galaxy.
Woodcraft by Owen. Thank you for the resub. Woodcraft by Owen. Blah, 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 blah. Owen, how the heck are you doing? How was your Maker Central convention? I hope it was amazing, folks. If you are not checking out Woodcraft by Owen, you're not doing life right. A legendary maker and crafter extraordinaire was at a big conference, Makers Conference this past weekend, highlighting many members of the Makers and Crafters community, including some of our friendos like Boyd's, Anchored Albatross, JP Sunset Woodworking, and many, many more. Please go check out Woodcraft by Owen. Go follow Owen. It was fantastic. Long weekend, but really good. Awesome. Owen, I was lurking in the background. Sorry we were unable to get you that video. We had our basement flood, and we had just a bunch of, like, insurance stuff happen. It was a little bit of a maddening 2 weeks. But I'm really glad that it went well. I'm really, really glad that it went well. Melanol, hello, Melanol. How you doing, Melanol? Yeah, Carlo's not enough of a body bod. Smikes, he's not enough of a bod, unfortunately. Looking forward to next year. Awesome, Owen. Guys, also, in addition, Woodcraft by Owen is a legendary maker and crafter. Check him out, not just for his page, but also for his website. He made some of the crochet hooks that Lita now uses all the time. And Owen, she absolutely loves that set that you got her. Well, that you made. Carlos sulks in his... No, Carlo! I'm sorry, Carlo, we had, so apparently when y'all... Hi, Kyle! Hi, Kyle. All the party people are coming in. Kyle, how are you doing, ma'am? Chad, a date night in is in the house.
There's five Kevins.
Kyle, the date night in, folks, if you don't already know her. She is a wizard! She just had her 3-year streamiversary on Saturday, which was our raid destination this past Saturday. The woman's absolutely breathtaking. She's an absolute legend. She dances in the wind with Kevin the Aspergillus fungus. Even though there's occasional yeeting. She does... Hold on. She dances with Kevin! Right, Kyle? You dance with Kevin? Even though he gets yeeted, yeah? Chad, if you're not checking out Kyle from a Date Night In, you're not doing life right. Kyle, Date Night In is a breathtaking, amazing soul. Food and drink streamer extraordinaire on the final partner, Poosh. Please go follow the legendary Kyle. Kyle, love your face, ma'am. How are you doing today? Whoa, straw hat. How is Funky? How are you? How is everything, ma'am? Oh, no, don't you dare, Kyle. My face is goofy. You don't want to loaf that face. You'd end up like this. You don't need that. No one needs that in their life. Is it yeeted? I thought it was yeah. Not yet? Kyle, we got a new one, by the way. Check this out, Kyle. Check this. Kyle, you love Star Wars, right, Kyle? Of course you do. Got home from work in the last hours. Funky had a good day off. Excellent, Kyle. Glad to hear it. Funky works too much. He works way too much, Kyle. Ariella, if you would like a high-res screenshot of the piece, go follow our friend the Stream Scribe. He is the person who's doing the live letter art above my head. He has on his Discord is where they're posted. So if you go ahead and check it out right there, you'll be able to get all the fancy. PD, what's wrong? T-Fox, what's wrong? Is it because the amber is not very clear? I do know. I do know it's clear. Ariella, thank you so much for following the lovely Carlo. He is live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I believe there's been a schedule change. Straw Hat, if Kyle has OBS open, you're free to hit all kinds of redemptions. If Straw Hat, if redemptions are on, and the streamer has OBS open, you're required to go in and scare them. I actually do that a fair bit, Straw Hat. Our friend Zedman has a bunch of chat interactive redeems, and I love to just go in there. I see he has OBS open in the middle of the day, I'll just go in and start redeeming random things. And then he gets scared, and it makes me chuckle. Alright, there's one side of it. How's Lita? She is doing alright, Kyle. She's doing okay. We've been dealing with an insurance snafu issue. Hi, Caledon. Welcome in. That's been very unfortunate to have to deal with, but when, you're dealing with dirtbags, you expect this much. And then I will be seeing Music Girl in 11 days, so we're very excited. And then Little One...
Put us on yellow alert.
...is exceptionally silly.
Whatever.
She's a super cutie patootie, Kyle. And, I just love her absolutely to bits. Andy B, it is real-life Jurassic Park, almost. 30 million years old, not over 65. But...
Where's my drink?
Alright, I think you hydrate.
What drink?
The unfortunate thing is, Andy, this does not work. You cannot extract DNA or RNA or anything at all out of these, which is a little bit too bad. Everything's broken down by this stage. Over about 1 million years is the oldest that you can get in terms of DNA before it starts totally breaking down, and there's nothing we can extract from this. Master Bag is the one in a vacuum because you can clean it out. Fortuitous Traveler, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Guys, another person to go follow is the lovely Mama is a Fan. Mama is a Fan, legendary maker and crafter extraordinaire. Go check out our friend Mama is a Fan. Love you, Mama. So, y'all, unfortunately, this side of the amber is really, really cloudy. And this is CE after we're adjusting. Ah, TD Fox, what's wrong? It does look like a fly of some sort, Keladon. This side here, we're actually unable to see anything. In terms of... It's just bubbly, right? Like, this is the best view that I can get. And so we're going to try to see if the other side is any easier to get any more information from. Hi, Optic Nerve. Optic, I saw you this morning, Optic. Optic, how did that make you feel? We were hanging out together, Optic, having a good time together, Optic Nerve. Did that make you feel happy? Because it made me feel happy to seeing you. Saw you in Zin's house this morning, Optic Nerve. It was very lovely, Optic. Optic, you know what's not lovely, though, is this, this sample here. All right, so here's the flip side. It is very bubbly optic. So here was the backside, and see, it looked very, very fly-like. But then here, Cliff, these to me look like antennae, right? The problem is that there's a lot of like just schmutz here, like all the bubbles. Its head looks very unique. And its body actually looks really interesting too. Its body almost looks like it's proportionately wrong in terms of size. Again, this is my bet is that it's just a distortion of the image, but you see how the abdomen and the thorax looks almost smaller than the body, like than the head. Yeah, Cliff, yeah, agreed. It's not a fly if these are in fact antennae. Cliff, it looks like it is. Let me see if we can get any better res in here. Take a photo of the public toilets. I do not, Owen. Tell me, Owen, why this sounds like something I would ask you. And my apologies for that, Owen. I'm leaning towards Cliff's. So, Tarzan, I also had a feel that it might be some flavor of cockroach at first, but I'm very much liking Cliff's answer. Aha, the leafcutter ants. Okay. Yeah, they look good. So Tarzan, I'll find an image in a second of a termite in amber. Termites in amber are actually very common. It's just supposedly we just haven't really found any. But the wing, it looks to me like it's two wings. On here, it looks like there's one wing there and a second wing. So there's two pairs of wings. Past midnight, I love you, Yan! Yan, was your stream amazing? Was it breathtaking? Was it super cool? Yan, I love your face. Please, guys, go check out the amazing Yan93 Gaming. Sonic professional gamer extraordinaire. And has a beautiful accent. And is absolutely amazing. Go check out Yan. I think maybe a princess alien of an ant. So Tarzan, the reason I'm hesitant on the alate is because of the wing number. A dope t-shirt cat. I know, right, Ariella? It's a crazy time with catalog. So the reason why, Tarzan, I'm not feeling the ant is primarily because of the wing number. We have, it looks like to me, two pairs of wings instead of just one pair. And that four wings is more of a sign of a termite. That's again why I'm leaning on Cliff's answer for this one. The problem is a lot of different things, but that we can't get a clear image on this one. And that's, I would say it's on me for picking just a very bad sample. But let's pull up an image of termite and amber and see if we can have any similarities. So, Tarzan, that's the other thing, right? Is that the wings are really, really difficult to see. Give a plush. You got it, Ariella. How about Ariella? Are you okay with Willow? If Dakum's here, Willow is also one of Dakum's favorite. Dakum, in fact, has a Willow. She won off the stream, and she took Willow to a brewery. Ambassador Q, you can redeem it as well. Smikes, you can. Ambassador Q feeds, he's right there. He will be in Little One's room, but not yet, because like you said, Smikes, for a little bit of an older child. Let's see, termite, amber. Pushes bug into sap. Trudges away. I mean, fortuitous maybe. Catalo, I love that. I love the rock, paper, scissors that you've done. Okay, so... these are obviously higher quality samples. But what you can see is that there is that doublet of the wings. So you have 2 wing sets in there, and that head shaped as well. So let's look at the head shape. Bigger head shape than what we were seeing like with our regular ants. And again, there's the 2 different wing sets. Hi, Lady Lara Croft. Come on in. Hi, Lady Lara Croft. Best of friendos. Now, hold on, Carlo. Carlo, listen, Carlo. Did you listen to our sound clip here?
My best friendo.
Carlo, we have the best of friendo here as well, Carlo. Okay. You don't know who next? Ooh, Love Light. Carlo, very nice. Hi, Mom Boss Lady. Welcome in. Mom Boss Lady, we're trying to ID this particular critter in the amber. And I'm feeling it be very much like the termite. The antennae are a little off. Like, it's not the thin pieces of antennal structure. That's like the one thing I'm really hesitating on. Cliff, if you'll notice, like the antennae that we just saw in the image has these little bulbs on it versus just those wisp-like pieces. Let's take a look and see, like, yeah. There's the one here. So it has these little bulbs on the antennae rather than those wisps. Too big for, I think, for a gnat, Mom Boss Lady. Mess with the honk and you get the bonk. Badonkadonk, Carlo? Another guess that we had was cockroach. They might look a little bit more like cockroaches, Cliff, but what's really throwing me then is that there's no outside, like that hard shell exterior isn't there. Right, we just have the wings. So if we look at it, at least from this angle, y'all, remember we are having difficulty in seeing all the different angles of this because of how it's preserved and how bubbly it is, so we can barely see the backside of it. But those wispy antennae up at the top are very, very different from what we were seeing on the other like in the termites. But the reason we lean toward the termites is because of the wing structure and then a little bit that we're seeing in the thorax and the abdomen. And so, Cliff, maybe we found the missing link between cockroach and termite. So Cliff's not wrong. Cockroaches and termites are very closely related in terms of phylogenetic tree and the genetic relatedness. Do I think we found the missing? Probably not. But it does kind of feel like that. Mosquito, so Mom Boss Lady, too many wings. We have 2 pairs of wings, so 4 wings total. The antennae, those wispy antennae are the wrong type, and then the head is all wrong here. It doesn't have a proboscis or the blood-sucky thingy, if you will. Instead, we can't make out any proboscis here. Yeah, so that's... I was leaning again towards some flavor of the I don't know, I really like the termite answer, but the antennae are all wrong. For predator beetle Tarzan, it could be on some flavor of a beetle, or we're totally off, and it's maybe a wasp of some sort. Wasp is like the catch-all answer. It seems like most of the time, if we have no idea what it is, it's usually a wasp. Tarzan, the weevil, let me show. The one reason I would say no to the weevil is the mouth. So the mouth on a weevil is actually quite beautiful. This one's beautiful here. See, so that long mouth, while it's not the same kind of proboscis as what you see on a mosquito, it almost looks like a straw. And so the straw, like style of the mouth, is like your telltale sign that it's a weevil. And so we don't have that one. Do you guys know about me too? What do you mean, Kippa? I don't think so. The wings look like a... So, Mom Boss Lady, not just the stinging kind of wasp, but parasitic wasps could have more wings, and so there's an obscene number of different kinds of wasps. The flying ones in the south are kind of like bullies. They can be fortuitous. They can be. By the way, Carlo, Cliff Alistair McLean, just for your art, is named after a space captain. So, Carlo, I don't know if that'll influence your approach for this piece, but he is named after a space captain. Because he is triply kind, triply cool, and triply amazing. No. Mom Boss Lady, please guess. Please guess, because this is how we learn, right? If we don't guess, we don't learn, and that defeats the... Then it's just me talking to myself. Which I do a fair bit, Mom Boss Lady, but we can be, I think we could do it. Quoth the Raven. I wish Quoth the Raven. Quoth, how are you doing today? How you doing, Quoth the Raven, nevermore? Quoth, we're trying to figure out what this sucker is here. If I look for predatory beetles, just as some examples. You're not in school, Mom Boss Lady, because you're having fun and you can leave at any point. Queen, so Straw Hat, wrong number of wings. Too many wings. We have 2 pairs of wings, so 4 wings total. Our ants will only have 2 wings in total, not 4. And then the head and the antenna are off. Those antennae, do you see how they look like eyelashes? Almost, and seeing how thin they are? Those are too thin for our ants have much thicker antennae. And that's what is that's what's throwing us off. Because otherwise, I think we would have maybe figured it out. But that antenna is just not clicking right, I think. Oh, so there's something off there. I know you're just playing Mom Boss Lady! There's still no test, Mom Boss Lady. Mom Boss Lady. Tiger beetle is something similar. No, Straw Hat, there's no regrets. Listen, we learn by guessing. Do ants also not have 4, just 2 bigger ones and 2 smaller ones? It depends on the species, Cliff. All the ants that I've worked with have 2 wings. And not 4. So like, the leafcutter ants that I've worked with, that I even have some of the samples preserved, only have the 2 wings. The carpenter ant queens that we collected only have the 2 wings. And then the Harbignathos saltator, which was the Indian jumping ant that we had in the lab, that occasionally produced winged individuals, also only had 2 wings. Even the males. Actually, Cliff, let me find a picture of those, because that should be more readily available to identify. Going to the Dracula ant? Quaff, listen, I would love to have the Dracula ant. No halteres on this sample, Cliff, or on the ants? On this sample, my friend, I wish I could tell you. About the resistance of the sap flavor, density light reflective of the amber, so I can guess the property of the bugs. Gotcha, fortuitous. I'll take a closer look on it. No hard care, but that's the thing, Tarzan, is the hard exterior as well, is what is also missing on our little character. Alright, Cliff, I think I found us an image. Okay, Cliff. So, Cliff, you see on here, there's wing 1, and then there's wing 2. So this is for those, this is a Harbignathos female queen. The males have same number of wings, they're just the wing vein patterns are different. And the overall shape of the wing is actually also a little bit different. Their bodies are much, much smaller. And so their wings aren't as, like, ovular, but it's a little bit more circular even of the wing. Like, the wing style is a little bit different. But that's our Harbignathus queen. And then there's an abdomen here that they dissected away so you can see the stinger. Harbignathus Hobie. I thought it was a Venator, just at the close image of this. But yeah, that's one option. So these only have that one wing pair. And then here is a carpenter ant cliff. So here on this one, you can see wing 1, wing 2, and then there's no other connection point. It's just those 2 wings. How big are the wings in relation to the ant's body? So Tarzan, this one's a carpenter ant, and you can see that wing is quite massive. Hi, Laura Gale! Welcome in, Laura Gale! Woo! Most Tarzan ants that are winged are either the queen or the male. And the wings need to be quite large for the queen because they're carrying around this massive abdomen. When the reason that's so big is because they have their ovaries. First time chatter, Ostracods. Ostracods, thank you for the biddy! Welcome into the colony. How are you doing today? And so those wings being so large is because their body mass is so heavy and they need to be able to be kept up in the air. So they're, like, relative to the rest of their body, they're quite large. The male is quite similar, but the male's bodies are also smaller on that front. Because their heads are smaller, their brains are smaller, all they carry in their abdomen is sperm, and that's about it. Carlo, are you doing the predator sign? Oh, the new one in the... Oh, I'm so sorry, Tarzan. Tarzan, I apologize for rabbit holing. Went food shopping a bit ago, now it's time to go raid the fridge. Now I won't watch, usually that's how it happens, Mom Boss Lady. I heard black body ants with red heads and backs are actually wingless wasps. I would need to see an image, Fortuitous Traveler. I would need to see the image. This one, Tarzan, it looks longer, right? Like, it looks like the abdomen ends there and the wings continue on, but Tarzan, do you see this scratch right here? I don't know how much of that is gonna be messing up the image, where it's gonna be throwing off the optics, where we might not be seeing the true appearance of it. Medibs! Hello, Medibs, from the nice side of the pond. Hi, Med. Med, welcome in. How you doing today, Med? Welcome. We're trying to figure out what this little critter is in the amber. What I'm gonna try to do, Tarzan, is I'm gonna try to move around the sample and see if we can get a better image and angle this a little bit cleaner. I don't know if we'll be able to, and then I don't actually know if we'll be able to figure out what this is. And again, it's that antenna structure that's messing with me. I do think it is still an antenna because we see like a connection point here and here, but and there's like little fuzzies on it too. I can't imagine it's just schmutz. Well, let's take a peek if I can figure out a better angle for this. The difficulty is I have to hold it then. Yeah, and the other side is far too dirty to see anything. Termite, so straw hat. That's what we originally thought. But what's throwing off our panda guess, or not panda guess, our termite guess, are the antennae. So the antennal structure for termites is much more bulbous, and there's individual bulbs going up and along the antennal structure as you climb up it. This is just a thin strand. And that's what's messing with me. I love amber, but it's a semi-precious stone. It is quite beautiful in jewelry. Yeah. Hi, Crux. Crux, how you doing? Crux, you said the fuzzy overlord was happy to see you today, Crux, with the belly pads. How you doing today? Mom boss lady, you know my credentials, mom boss lady. Fruit flies, ants, all the things. Hey, thank you, Crux. Love you, Crux. Crux. Great to see you, my friend. Hope you got home safely and the kitty is now happy. Crux, we're trying to figure out what the heck this is. Are we making a good effort? We're ruling a bunch of stuff out. Which is half the battle, Crux. Let me take a very bad side view. Oh, thank you, Smikes. I forget about the second one. Mosquito wasp? Honestly, Crux, it's probably not crazy to think it's just some kind of wasp. That tends to be the answer about it with that. Mr. Blunt, how do insects from millions of years ago even get stuck in amber? So, V, it's a little sad at the end of the day, V. It's just the tree sap is flowing from a tree, and it's very, very sticky. And, hi, Risto! Chat, make sure to follow the one leader about taking an amazing Risto Rock 88. Risto. I hope you had an amazing day. I hope you know how amazing you are, and I hope you know we love you, Risto. Guys, go check out Risto Rock 88. So V, it's like a very sticky sap that's flowing down the tree, and an insect will just land in it and get stuck, and then as the sap keeps flowing, it will be covered up with the tree sap, and then it gets stuck in it, and then it hardens. And then eventually you get the modern day, rock-like amber structure that we have, that hard resin. But at that time, it's still it's like when you cut a Christmas tree down, or you're bringing it in the house from Home Depot, and if you touch the base of it, there's that sticky substance. That will be the same thing. It's just if it's flowing from a tree because it's been injured or something, then they'll get stuck in it. Crazy, hot kind of day, but I'm home. It's all better now. Excellent, Risto. I know, love your face. Your tree at the Home Depot depends on the year, Smikes. Up in New Hampshire, most years we got it at BRB. Love you. Stream subscribing, King Carlo. I feel like I'm the only one who gets it at Lowe's. So I used to only get it at their Smikes up in New England, but then we found a Christmas tree farm. We didn't go for many years, Smikes. It would have made sense to go because it would be a beautiful place to go cut your own tree, right? And that's like one of the beauties of it being there. We did not because we were made to feel so bad about taking any time for ourselves. So we just I ran to the Home Depot, picked up a tree, threw it in the house, and that was that. The last year we were there, we actually went and cut our own tree. And that was really fun. I had a blast cutting our own tree. It was like this snowy field, and you went out with a saw, and Hi, Coffee Rocks! Hi, Coffee Rocks. And that was really, really fun. Lena and I cut down our own tree. But here, Smikes, I don't know. I haven't looked hard, I'll be totally honest with you, for another place beyond like a Home Depot that would be an easy find. There was a place down the street that looked like a mom and pop place, but it was in the parking lot of a CVS, and it was... I drove by, and the trees didn't look very good. Indeed, Croc the Raven. There are many types of trees that seep sap. I have a cherry, did always covered in balls of sap. And yet, these will be millions of years old in the Dominican Republic area. So it'll be a different kind of tree as well that's doing, like, the releasing the sap. Yeah, Coffee, we're a little stuck on this critter. In particular, I really leaned towards it being some kind of termite, but the antennae... Coffee, you see how the antennae are these wisp-like ones? And the wisp-like just, like, is not matching it right there. Ooh, but a straw hat panda. Let's see what we can do with a grasshopper. Missing, that's the catch, right? So here's the thing, Straw Hat. There are some optical illusions here that I think are as a function of all the bubbles in the sap. Like, I think we're having our image distorted a little bit, which is frustrating, right? Because we don't want it to, like, and I even if I turn around, like, because Straw Hat, if we look at the backside of this sample, this is the backside, right? It's total garbage. I cannot tell anything that's here. It's just this weird. It's just like, oh, it looks like a disaster. Yeah, last week was crystal clear. It was like, that was a drop of honey. I'm sorry that I picked this one to start with. We'll do another one so that it's not just a disaster today. But it does, yeah, and this, yes, makes it look like a fly. I agree, Straw Hat, 100%. But then, if we look at the other side, it totally doesn't. And so, Straw Hat, because of the angles here...
girl, please, I don't want to get it together, I'm scared.
Exactly. I still have no idea what that clip is me of saying, which is beautiful, that I have no idea what I'm saying. But here, Straw Hat, the end of the abdomen, I can't actually tell how far it's going, because there may be some kind of image distortion that's occurring. And I can't, like, shift stuff around well enough to make it really visible. Now, here's an example, Straw Hat, of a... That's our example of the grasshopper, and I think body-wise, it just doesn't look quite right for us, in particular the antenna length, but the big thing is the leg structure here. You're saying, Miss Music Girl, I don't want to get it together. Oh, is that what I'm really... Wow, Music Girl. You know it's quite terrible when you're using a quote from me, and I have no idea what I'm saying. It's kind of like when I write stuff, and I usually have no idea what I just wrote. Well, you just wrote it 5 minutes ago. No idea what that says. Or sometimes Lita will be like, remember, honey, we talked about this last week. Did we? I have no recollection of this conversation. She's like, well, maybe you were on your phone. No, I don't think so at all. I don't think that doesn't sound right at all. That doesn't sound right at all. I can pretty much understand. Yeah, that's fair. But Music Girl, well, you're a legend, but that's the whole thing. Ristark 88, thank you for the tier 1 gifts of the Straw Hat Panda. Straw Hat. Please enjoy the ad-free viewing. Please enjoy the emotes made with love, and please thank the lovely Ristark. Thank you for thanking Ristark. Straw Hat. That is beautiful. You now have a little egg by your name. That little egg, should you choose to come back, will hatch into a little larva, and that little larva will hatch into a pupa, and that little pupa will hatch into a grown-up ant one day. Thank you so much again, Risto. And Straw Hat, you now have access because you're subscribed. You have access. Music Girl, thank you for the biddies! You now have access to all these sounds and all these gifts. Use them wisely, Straw Hat. Make sure you have fun. He's a friend of mine. He rated here, Risto. Straw Hat Panda rated here. He rated us. I love it. The beginning still. But yeah, chat. So looking back on this particular insect and what it might be, we were talking about the potential of it being the Neuroptera, but I think what we're limited to is with the wings here. So, y'all, I'm kind of stumped. I'm kind of stumped on what this might be because of how little we're able to see with all the bubbles. What do y'all think? Cliff, I know you're one of our professional detectives. I don't ever like to be like, I have no idea, but every single feature that I'd want to start looking for, we just have totally obscured by the bubbles on one side. On the other side, the whole back of the amber is just totally nerfed. And so, I really don't know who it could be. Your dreams were not your destiny. Me dreams harder. That's Fortuitous Traveler. Dream as hard as you can, if not faster, if not stronger. Not more powerful. So yeah, y'all, I'm so sorry. I think we have to say that I have no idea who this is. A Dream Weaver? Maybe Spenzo. So, what we're gonna do, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and put this one away as, unfortunately, an unknown specimen. A locust. So, or it could be a penguin, that's right. So one thing that's, for it to be the locust and like a really good feel of that straw hat, we would have to have a better visibility of the abdomen. So the abdomen of the locust goes much further back. It's almost like at the back of where the wingspan should be. And this one, it could be an optical illusion. It could be curved inward. We cannot see it. So that's but the head is like grasshoppery, locust, right? The head is pointing towards that. Or even like on the termite front of things. Yeah. Tarzan, so the weevil, the mouth is off. At least what we can see in the visible light. So let me show you. Come on. Here we go. So this is what the weevil mouth should look like, Tarzan. Do you see that there's like this tube coming out here? That tube is missing. And also there's like the hard beetle shell as well, and that's kind of throwing me off on that front. Yeah, so here's a really good look at the weevil. See, we don't have the hard outside shell, and then it's this like long proboscis that we're missing. Raven, Carlo the Stream Scribe is making a beautiful piece of art for you, my friend. He does live letter art above my head Monday nights. He's an absolute legend. Chad, if you're not checking out Carlo the Stream Scribe, please go drop him that follow right now. Not just right now, but right now. Go drop him that follow, chat. Go drop. He streams Monday, Wednesday. No, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yes, for now. Possibly going back to the 5 days. Maybe, possibly, potentially. Is the bug perfectly preserved? Does it get to deteriorate the shell? So, Fortuitous, the shell and the exoskeleton is very well preserved if it's a hard outside insect. If it is something like a... Hi, Sessions with Sir Bao! Welcome on in. If it is something like a moth or a soft-bodied insect, those need to be preserved at just the right temperature and speed. Otherwise, those will start to decay. But anything with like this hard exterior, they preserve quite well. The internal organs have dissolved away. So in terms of internal anatomy, even if we were to able to dissect this open, it would be dried out. And you wouldn't be able to get any real information from that front, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah. And I don't, like, Fortuitous, I think if we did try to dissect it, again, it would just be like dust, almost, that would be getting out. Just trying to, ooh, okay, hold on. Alright. Let's go on the total opposite feel in terms of clarity. Alright. That's a squeak. Smikes. Yes, Smikes. Smikes is right. This is much, much clearer. Let's actually get a measurement here. King Charles, our ruler, get it, y'all? It's a pun. The insect is about 2 millimeters in length. So if we zoom in here, about 2 millimeters, I would say. Yeah, and Straw Hat, you know what's wild is these are from the same area. So you're not getting like an area effect, but rather it has to do with the sap, like which tree it's from, the temperature and the humidity at the time that it's released is what is influencing these different colors. Smikes, can I tell you a secret? I didn't get it until right then either. And Cliff had made that joke like a month ago. Alright, so Straw Hat. This is not great either, Straw Hat. You know why, Straw Hat? Do you see the swirl running in the center? That, like, little smattering of discoloration right here. Like that little bit of extra yellow, and then there's back to the same white, and then there's another smattering of the yellow. That is an imperfection in the amber. That means that there is something else that leaked into it and, like, made it not as clean and pure of a piece. And that's what makes this our insect friend here, she is on his side. And this is going to be a pain in the butt to image. But I do want to point out, you can actually see the ommatidia here. So those are the individual eye cells along the eye right here. And we can make out the antennae quite clear here as well. Ooh, Coffee Rocks. Coffee, do you want to see Coffee Rocks? Coffee, I have a piece of unpolished amber. If you would like to see Coffee Rocks, I can show you the raw unpolished color. Okay, Coffee, what's actually hilarious is this is the exact reason why I have the unpolished samples, is because people asked that question, and it was like, it's just awesome to be able to show it. And some of our school visits, we actually pass this sample around so that for the kiddos, they're actually able to figure out and see what unpolished amber looks like, because it's not what you'd expect, or at least it's not what I expected. So let me show y'all the unpolished one. Whoa! And then we'll switch back to this piece here. But this is looking quite clean and nice to see. Okay, so. And I do not have Coffee Rocks a tool to do the polishing, unfortunately. Hi, Becca's Craft Life. How you doing, Becca? Hi, Ant. Oh yeah, it's a stunning piece by Carlo. Straw Hat, have you had one made by the stream scribe, Straw Hat? Would you like one, Straw Hat Panda? Perhaps Carlo will make you one as well. But yeah, so this is Coffee Rocks, one piece of unpolished amber. A weird and long day. I hope, Becca, not too stressful. But yeah, Coffee Rocks, this is one example of an unpolished piece of amber. Be honored. Carlo, can we do one for Straw Hat once you're done with the Ravens? Could we do one for the Straw Hat Panda? And guys, go check out Becca's Crafty Life as well. Maker and Crafter Extraordinaire is the lovely Becca. Go check out Becca's Crafty Life, folks. But yeah, Coffee, this is one piece. I got another one here. It was a little set that came on this one, Coffee Rock. So it's like they're all kind of together in a little pile. Interviewed today and found out both my parents have COVID. We're over here at the weekends trying to figure out if we're going to get it or not. Well, you can't figure out if you're going to get it, but you can. I would suggest, Becca, testing the next couple of days to see if you have gotten it. Unfortunately, there's no way of telling in advance how much exposure you have needed. If they were how infectious they were, and like at the time, it's a really difficult one. Awesome, thank you, Fortuitous Traveler. Appreciate you. So coffee. Kind of like this. Do you see there's still like a bunch of dirt on the outside? So I think these were found near each other, coffee. They could also have been broken at the time, which is my suspicion, because coffee, if we look on the sides here, along here, they're a little bit cleaner in terms of color, and because of that, my suspicion is that this was a break point. And so this is the actual outside, and then the break point is where it's still, we're looking at now. We had a piece under the microscope we were just examining. Our friend Coffee Rocks was asking about what unpolished amber looks like. So we were just looking at this piece here, and you can see how clear the piece is and how like easily we can see all the features. But this is in contrast to this earlier piece that we were looking at, that which is all bubbled up. And so then we had Coffee Rocks ask, well, what does an unpolished piece of amber look like? And this is what that piece looks like here. So the outside is pretty dirty. Some of the cut sides, if they broke right on like a fault line, then it might, when it breaks, it'll have that little much of an orange tone to it. Coffee, this sample here is actually from North Carolina, this unpolished amber. It is Cretaceous amber. It's 72 to 83 million years old, this unpolished amber. Coffee, I have no idea if there's anything in here. I don't have the tools to do the amber polishing, just like on hand, but that would be a very cool thing to do one day. I think a big thing is that we looked into it is the cost is actually quite high compared to what you'd expect. And then it does kick up a lot of dust, and so we wouldn't not necessarily do it in the stream room with all the tech stuff in here and like dust everywhere. Hi, Gatalogical! Come on in, Gatalogic. How you doing, Gatalogic? It's great to see you. Welcome on. And Bex, hello, Bex. Yeah, coffee. Great question. Let me show you one more, Coffee Rocks. Just to give you an idea of the outside textures. Oh, Smikes, I think Babe Ross and Amy have done some collabs. Am I not mistaken, Amy Wiseart? You and Babe Ross know each other and have done some collaborations. I wonder if that's who Smikes is thinking of. I'll say it. So see, this one here, Coffee, is like still the outside. See how there's dark patches on the outside as well, and you just have this like dirt look to it. Not a collab, but Amy, at least there's been something, right? Because I know she's been having running commands for your like 1 or 2 year anniversary stream. I wouldn't try exactly. Yep, exactly. Coffee Rocks. Yeah, especially if we're trying to like cut through millions of years of amber, you want like this special component to it. We did look at and try to find some that were more affordable, but I was just like, I don't know. I don't trust myself with it yet without some training. But yeah, there's the and see, Coffee. If I shield the light a little bit, you can see too how little light is actually getting through because of how much dirt is just all around the exterior. So we'd have to do a lot of cleaning and polishing of this one, and it's actually quite a small sample as well. So I don't know, Coffee. This would have to be a by hand polish because it's already so small that you have a very little working area on this. But yeah. Thank you, Cobb, for the question. Gotcha, Amy. Amy, we just, I had met you through Carlo, actually, Amy. And then yeah, I'd seen you with there was like a Babe was very much, you know, I think there was like a command of you on her channel for a little while. And so I'm always like, oh, there's Amy, there's Amy, there's Amy, there's Amy. And I very much love your work, man. Alrighty, let's look back at the amber piece that we were examining. I'll actually flip it over, see if we can get a better angle. Alright, this is the back side of the piece. And this will be easier to tell. You see, this is a really nice comparison shot. This is a similar, you know, so coffee, this amber is Dominican amber, so not the Cretaceous, so much younger than the unpolished piece that we just looked at. And so the Dominican amber is known, like that is what it is known for its clarity. But you can see how cool this looks in terms of the clarity and being able to visualize inside of it and get that information of what's happening versus what we just looked at that was unpolished. And so I think it's just a really cool difference between them. Straw Hat Panda, isn't this Carlo, you're already outdoing yourself, sir. That Carlo, folks, is an absolute wizard. Yeah, it is super smooth cloth. The unfortunate thing is there's these little swirls in it right now. And those swirls here, you see how it's stuck? It almost looks like it's laying up against something. And that's what's unfortunately that happens with these imperfections that come in. It makes it much harder to see what's going on there. Amberlyn gonna head out looking for it. Thank you so much, Amberlyn. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for coming in the raid and for being part of the community. Appreciate the heck out of you. I had emergency page messages come through my cell phone. I don't go back to work until tomorrow. Crux, do you get to just ask them to deal with someone else? Or Crux, do you have to deal with it? Like, can you just be like, I'm sorry, and bye? I hope you don't have to deal with it, Crux, because you're still on your day off. Alright. There we go. So unfortunately, just the back here. Packs it onto the Nexus system. Okay, awesome, Crux. Crux, I'm glad that you didn't have to deal with it, because that seems like that's woefully unfair, my friend. Crux, Straw Hat, your piece is done, Straw Hat. Straw Hat, if you would like a copy of this piece, you can take a screenshot now. You can also join Carlo, aka the Stream Scribes Discord, and that's where I believe we'll be. Carlo, is that still correct? Is that what we're doing? Guys, make sure to follow the one, the only legendary Stream Scribe. There is the Fancy Man shout out. Awesome, perfect. Thank you, Straw Hat Panda. And again, chat, go follow Carlo, aka the Stream Scribe. Amy Wise, gotta go figure out dinner. Enjoy, Amy Wise. Have a lovely dinner. We love and appreciate you, Amy. Thank you so much for the raid again. You are mega talent, ma'am. Have a good one. Image is now property of the Chinese government. Oh, yes, because of the panda. I'm so sorry. Smikes, No. You're right. Smikes is the panda. I thought you were talking about the amber. And I was just like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And if you understood, you wouldn't understand. Possibly, maybe, potentially.
You don't understand.
Hi,
You
Professor
don't
Canuck.
understand. If you understood, you wouldn't understand.
Hi, Astro. How are you doing, Astro Canuck? Astro, we have had quite an evening, Professor Canuck. First of all, sir, we started with this sample. Astro, no way of telling what the heck this is. The whole back end of it is totally nerfed. It's not clean. There's bubbles all over the place. And then we flipped it, and then we saw this. But again, there's obstructions. There's bubbles all over the place. It looks almost like the body of a termite, but the antennae are all off. Maybe the head of a grasshopper, but the abdomen we can't make out on. So there's just far too much things that are obstructed by the light and the bubbles, and like also impurities in the amber that we're like, well, we have no idea what's actually here. And then Astro, we now have this much cleaner sample. And actually, this will make much easier. This will actually a much easier look to it. Can't believe they put bubbles in there when they made it for... Nerd, you're right. You're 100% right. And it does appear to be a bug, Professor Canuck. Female mosquitoes. So Cliff, what I want to take a look then, I can't see a proboscis. That mouth part. Guys, if you're not checking out Professor Astro Canuck, you're not doing life right. Professor Canuck is the most powerful astrophotographer, Lego builder on Twitch. He's also a published author. Also extremely handsome. A beautiful beard. Astro Canuck, I saw you had an amazing Mother's Day. I did miss the Lego Lazy Sunday stream. Is the computer have life? Are we approaching life to the computer, Professor Canuck? Is there anything we could do, Professor Canuck, to help you, sir, with bringing life back to the baby? I figured there was a postponing still, Professor. I wonder what the air of yesteryears tastes like. Depends on where you go, Fortuitous Traveler. Life will resume soon. Perfect. Astro, I miss you, sir. I miss you. I know it's only been a few days, but I'm like, Sunday morning's Professor Canuck time. Sunday morning's Professor Canuck at 10 a.m. Astro Canuck. Alright, chat. Cliff says mosquito, female. I am leaning on something a little bit different here. So Cliff, here is the piece angled. And Cliff, it looks like we have people let loose his words. Halteres. It looks like we have some halteres here. But you're right on. You're on right now, but it's a different Astro Canuck. It's different because it's not space. It's not out of this world. It's not Lego. I don't have the beard. I don't have the holy potatoes. I don't have the Canadianness. I just have the unapologetic Hungarian me. Very Hungarian today. But yeah, Cliff, I'm seeing a haltere here. I'm also seeing like this one wing. Let me flip it over and see if we can get a good look at the proboscis or the mouth part. But I'm feeling that it's probably some kind of midge. Or a gnat of sort, which is, I know, not the most fun answer. Hi, Epoch! Epoch, congratulations, Epoch. Epoch, congratulations. Folks, the lovely Epoch is the newest member of the Moco Loco stream team. Just announced today, another maker and crafter extraordinaire.
Who let the ants out? Let's go!
Guys, go follow Epoch! Go follow the lovely Epoch. Got a load, chat! Says thanks for having me yet again. Carlo, thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for the beautiful art that you did. Thank you for just being part of our community. Thank you for being so loving. Thank you for being so kind. Thank you for being the most handsome man in the state of New York. Guys, if you're not already, please go follow our friend Carlo, aka the Stream Scribe. And big thank you, folks, for Carlo being here with us today. Thank you again, my friend. Epoch, we're doing some live microscopy, and the lovely Carlo was here doing some live letter art earlier. Hi, Linux Witch. Welcome on in. How are you doing, Linux Witch? Linux Witch, we're about to continue on looking at the sample of amber. We're just wishing Carlo a pleasant evening as he departs. He did some beautiful letter art pieces today for folks, and he does it every Monday. So if you would like your name done in live letter art, make sure to join us early on Mondays, right around the 6:30 look. See you next Monday, friend. Good night, Carlo. Have a good one, my friend. Alrighty, folks. We're actually gonna hide the that view, so there we go. Boop. That way Carlo can use his iPad and without worrying of sharing the artwork or whatever he's working on. Thank you again, Carlo. Watching the work chat. It's getting wild, but I'm glad. Yes, Crux. I'm glad you're not working, Crux. So Linux Switch, we're this piece of amber looked very clean and hopefully easy to figure out what's in there. But there's a lot of like weird imperfections in it, and that have made it a little bit difficult to ID who's in here. But my hope is that this will help. Carlo! There we go. Guys, go check out the Stream Scribe. Here's the fans band. Thank you out chat as well for the lovely, amazing catalog. Sir, Dr. Professor Carlo. Love your face, sir. So this, Cliff, I think this is the best angle that we're going to get of this. My feeling, Cliff Alistair McLean, is that this is some kind of gnat that we're looking at. Or, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. What do you think, Cliff? Your pants are... Yeah, Carlo, you stop that. Your pants are very fancy. I've seen your pants, sir. I've heard from Grimly about your pants. And Carlo, did you know there's even a sound alert about your pants? Carlo, did you know this?
I like your pants around your pants.
That's about you, Carlo. About your pants, sir. One more time, Carlo.
I like your pants around your pants.
There we go. There we go, Carlo. There we go. That's a good guess. So Straw Hat, that is my assumption on what we have here, because the antennal structure is quite similar to what we've seen in the past. We don't have a long proboscis. That would be indicative of our mosquito brethren. So, and it's quite small. We're talking in the 2 millimeter range. The mosquitoes are usually a little bit bigger than that 2 millimeter mark. So that is why I'm suspicious that this is some flavor of gnat. Again, it's a little too bad that the lighting is kind of thrown off here. Again, it's that swoosh here. Yeah, you're 100% right, Straw Hat. And Straw Hat, remember though, we are talking 30 million years ago, so sizes may have been different. There might also be species that have gone extinct that are very different in size as well. And that seems to have a shorter antenna than a midge's. So are we leaning towards midge on this one? Cliff. And 9 and Moo Hoodles, welcome on in, y'all. How are you doing today? We gotta have double shout-outs happening here now. Lean towards bee-fly, but not as thick as what I've seen. I think you're right, Straw Hat. What do you think, Cliff? Do we think a midge or a... Because this antenna is on the longer side. So then maybe it's maybe it is a midge then, based on that length. Guys, couple 830 million year old sample, and we're just looking at this piece. Here's the actual full size zoom out look to it, and we're just looking at this little insect that we found, and I think we're leaning on this being a gnat of sorts because of the length of the antennae there.
Make it so.
And I think, I can't remember, Cliff says bushy in male and like that there in female. Yeah, so we're thinking that this is a female gnat here is what we're seeing underneath the microscope. It's pretty cool, something like that. Indeed, Hugh, we have made it so. So that's our second amber piece of the night, Jack. We're going to go ahead and catalog this one. And then, do y'all want to look at some pond water now? Stream Elements, that was a little bit rigged, Stream Elements. Stream Elements won the Battle Royale, chat. Stream Elements won the Battle Royale. Heck is Stream Elements going to win that? You want to look at some pond water now? And we can do more amber later in the evening if we're feeling. And then, guys, also, if you like science, we did have the lovely Moo Hoodles also pop on in here. Make sure to follow the one, the only legendary Moo Hoodles. How you doing, Moo? Hope you had a great weekend. All right, we're going to switch on out and switch over to doing some microscopy of pond water. I collected new samples today from a different area, so I'm hoping our water source is going to look better than it did last week. Last week was a little bit on the disappointing side of things, but we did get some interesting looking mosses today. So in theory, we'll have something interesting to look at today. I already see there's a couple of critters zipping on around. Hi, Alexander Online. Welcome in. Alexander, we're looking at some pond water samples. I'm still collecting some and putting it in. Oh! Smikes. Is that? No, it's not a Gary. For a split second, I thought we had a Gary, Smikes. For a split second, I thought it was a snail. Not a Gary. No, not a Gary at all. Trauma code taking a trip down the valley. Helicopter. Oof, my goodness. Crocs, you get to stay at home, right? I will say, Smikes, I got us some, of this plant-based material. Almost like a seaweed's consistency. That's what they usually like to hang out in. So I'm going to pull out a little bit of that from here, and we'll see if we'll be able to get some. That was my way, definitely be back. Thank you so much, Straw Hat Panda. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for hanging with us. I appreciate that. Tell them 2%, Alexander. Have a good one. Crux, thank you for the lurk. Up. Crux, good luck. Good luck on the heli case. Guys, again, go check out our friend Straw Hat Panda. Straw Hat, thank you so much for the raid. For just hanging out with us. Being cool and hip and fancy. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and get my forceps so we can get some of this, plant material out. In the past, Smikes, we've seen our snail friends swimming around in here. I have a suspicion it might be a little bit too early in the season for them. But I figure there's nothing wrong in actually trying. Let's see what we get in here. Is that a small Planarian? We'll zoom in a little, Cliff. The lighting is quite off for me to be able to tell what's going on in there. Wester, gotta let the dogs out. Thank you, Wester. Appreciate you. Thank you for the raid as well. And for the lurk. Let's go ahead and see, Cliff, what we have. Cliff, there's a whole bunch of little things just swimming around in here. And yeah, I can see what you mean. That right there, of what that creature is. Lure can pay my more... Oh, good luck, Coffee Rocks. Coffee for a moment that sounded exciting. So, Cliff, I'm going to say it's probably not a Planarian. Looks almost like those rotifers that are zipping around as well. So right here, Cliff. You can see it zipping right there. You're cool, Moo Hoodles. There we go. We got the picture. So there it is, Cliff. Cliff, at first glance, it almost even looked a little bit like our nematode. The body shape isn't the right shape. It's not pointy at the correct ends. The chickens... I think these are pupae here, Hugh. We'll zoom in on those, because those look really cool. Given how little they're moving, I think we're nailing a certain developmental stage here. And you can see some internal movement there too. It's kind of neat to see. The Ostracods look like they're bothering these, Cliff. Which is always interesting to see them. It's a pretty good shot as well. I'll save them. Dacum, how are you doing today, ma'am? I apologize if I already asked Dacum, but I want to ask again, Dacum. How are you doing today? I hope all is Gucci. Named a Catogaster. Looks like the small worm. Okay. What do they do, Cliff? Is that little one swimming around? Does it look the same, Cliff? Is this injured? It has those weird internal blebs, and it looks a little bit off. I also digging to seeing the internal anatomy here. You can see them both doing filter feeding, and they're at two different sizes and developmental stages in here. Oh, okay. Right on, Cliff. They do look the same. Cliff, does it say what these blebs are? It's in German, so I do not know how to read it. But this looks pretty similar. There's just those interesting intersection points. Yeah, you can see some of the filter feeding happening there. I don't know, I always think it's very neat to see that. There's also the fake eye. Oh, it's replicating. Okay, so maybe it is then a flavor of Planarian. Then it's not the same kind that we've gotten before in the pond water cliff, and maybe a different one. There are some square-headed Planarians that we, like, I know exist in the area. It's just not your classic Planarian. It might be, though. It might be this one as well. It keeps bothering everyone, Cliff. It's attacking the Ostracod. Hi, Michael R. Hassler. what is that filter feeder, and what is this sample of? Sleep well, Crystal. Sleep well. So Hugh, this sample is from pond water near us, so it's the same pond water area that we usually get from. I got a different part of the lake today. Crystal, thank you for the biddies. Crystal 22 biddies. Thank you, Crystal. This is from a different part of the lake, but it's the same mass of water. And the reason I picked there today is because it had some of the almost like seaweed looking growth to it, because I wanted to try to get some of that, because there's sometimes extra unique critters in that. So same body of water again, they're all interconnected of where I usually get it from. It's just the opposite side of things. And then this filter feeder, Cliff, this is not an Ostracod, is that right? How excited are you to collect samples? So Smikes is right, I do collect these. So she's in her little stroller, and then I park her stroller and step on over and get some sample and step back. Although, I think it was last week, Smikes. I went over and I fell. I had like a bad fall near the area. And then there was the crazy lady who was like, "That's my child," and I was like, "I don't know who you are or what you're talking about, but we're gonna continue on." Yeah, I think this is what we had last week, Cliff, but I can't remember the name of it. And there's an Ostracod riding this worm-like creature down here. I can't tell, Cliff, if they're eating it or not. There's that little worm creature. The Cyclops on the bottom? It is one-eyed, Tarzan. It's not a true eye, it's again just a light sensing organ. Cliff, are we seeing eating here? I get a sense that we might be seeing eating here, Cliff. But there's a lot of activity either way. They also seem to like the string. These are Cliff's favorite, though. These are the Ostracods. See, Cliff, I'm learning. Cliff teaches me all about the pond water, y'all. But it's really cool to see just how much life is teeming in this little drop of water. And again, from a few weeks ago, we didn't have this kind of density of creatures. Hugh, by the way, have you gotten your mug? As on a totally unrelated aside, Hugh. I hope you have gotten your mug, my friend. About water bears. Ah, Quaff. I love for us to find some tardigrades. I have not found any tardigrades today. Look at its little feetsies! Look at its little feetsies! That sound clip, Quaff, is when we found our first one on stream and I went crazy. We've been hunting for them, Quaff. We found one maybe several weeks ago, maybe like a month ago we found one. And then we've been striking out for a past couple of weeks. They are usually in lichens on trees and mosses, like wet, damp areas. Usually not too much sunlight either. And so one way to get them is you bring in a sample and you dry it out. Oh, it's a Daphnia. Thank you, Tarzan. You take it inside, you dry it out, and then you put them in some water to rehydrate them. They come out of this ton state, and then they start moving again. Would you like, Quaff? I have a really good video on them. If you're interested, we can watch that video and talk a little bit about their biology. Only if you're interested, Quaff. And guys, make sure to check out our lovely friend Bentley13, who's in the shadows, adding to some of our Discord and other challenges as well. Go check out Bentley. They were a paranormal show and how they were sent into space. Some people in Colorado saw things like them. So, Quaff, can survive the vacuum of space. And you can find them in your backyard. So Quoth, if you have a microscope and you have mosses and werewolves, like Dakum said, then you should be able to find some. It's again not as straightforward as just like you just look, but it's you'd have the right way of looking for them if you have those kinds of pieces. Which I think is quite cool to be able to see stuff like that. On a spaceship for 10 days. Yep. It can survive like the bottom of the ocean radiation. Yeah, let me, Quath, since you're interested, I do have a video on them that we will watch just for you, Quath. And then maybe that'll bring us good luck. And maybe we'll find one. The water bear? Oh, it just looks like... It lives in the water and it looks a little bit like a bear. Maybe, possibly, potentially, probably not. But like maybe a little bit.
Without water, a human can only survive for about 100 hours. But there's a creature so resilient that it can go without it for decades. This 1 millimeter animal can survive both the hottest and coldest environments on Earth, and can even withstand high levels of radiation.
What we're looking at today is we're trying to ID if there's possibly, potentially, any tardigrades maybe in the water. And our friend Quoth the Raven asked about tardigrades, and so we're about to watch a video on tardigrades. Again, Raiders, welcome the heck in. Detector, thank you for being here and for sharing your community with us. Welcome on in, everyone. Let's us continue this video. And Detector, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the new Zelda game. I'm not ever sure how I felt about it. It looks like it's really fun. The graphics are a little frustrating to me because of the cel shading. I'd be more all about it if it wasn't cel shaded, which is just a personal preference. I think it'd be super cool to see the Zelda world built like on the Unreal Engine and looking like something from like the Witcher level. Cell shading can be good, Smikes, but yeah, it doesn't. It's not cell shaded. It looks like for the style. It looks like it's because it's the easier way to do it. I'm Tardy. Hi, Kai. Welcome in. You always get a good grade, Kai. They give us too much power on this one with the physics. No, Detector. I've seen some of the creations that they've made, like folks, because there's so much that you can build, and that looks amazing. I love the building element and the cooking and the food and like all the things that you can do in it. I've not played, full disclosure. I just don't much care for how it looks. But it's not as yes, it is. It's the Tears from Fear Zelda games, Mikes, possibly. Guys, let's learn about the tardigrade now. Because we had the lovely Quoth the Raven ask. Let's learn for Quoth, chat.
It's one of the toughest creatures on Earth, even if it does look more like a chubby, 8-legged gummy bear.
See, gummy bear, Quoth, water bear, gummy bear, bears, beets, Battlestar Galactica.
Most organisms need water to survive. Water allows metabolism to occur, which is the process that drives all the biochemical reactions that take place in cells. But creatures like the tardigrade, also known as the water bear.
Look, Quoth, it has a mask even. No, I know what you mean. It does, in terms of the sectioning of its body, it almost looks like it's that curlicue and motion of a caterpillar. And it's not fuzzy or like a bear or anything like that. I think it's just someone thought it was cute. And I honestly don't know the direct derivation of why it's called the water bear. Moss piglet makes more sense to me. Quoth, they do have layers of sharp teeth. Hold on, Quoth, before we continue, the video, you need to see this. Hold on. Let me get the image. Indeed, Battlestar Galactica, Cliff Astor McLean. I'll do mouth. Here it is. This is the classic one. Okay, Quaff, you ready? That's one species, Quaff. There's thousands of species, but this is one quite terrifying one with its mouth. Mafita de Gita. Yep, Quaff, yep. Yep. So this is a scanning electron micrograph. What is this? Yes, I'm over 18. This has scanning electron microscope, so it means it's really, really high resolution, so you can look at on really, really tiny things. Instead of a regular microscope where they're using light, they shoot electrons at the sample, and there's a sensor inside the microscope, and that sensor picks up the image. So it's a different style photography, different style microscope. This is a cool million here, this particular microscope. The sample prep is also quite unique. You have to dry it out, you have to cover it in platinum or gold, and then you shoot the pieces on there, which is quite cool to see. Able to see that. It is pretty awesome, Linux Switch. Yeah, there's thank you, Smikes. There's a couple of different ones. This is the more classic appearance, usually of what we see. It's not available for purchase in the country. I don't know what that means. But I just wanted to show you all the picture, and it doesn't let me. Here. This is more classic of what we see. Carnivorous. So, Claire, depends on what you call it. So, like, a lot of them are more, like, they eat, like, other smaller microorganisms. Some are, like, cannibalistic, and they'll eat other species of tardigrade, but I don't know how many actively eat plant matter. Even these, what we can't see in this image, inside of it, they do have, little razors inside of this one as well. So that's not the only one that has like the little like knives. I was hoping to be able to show this one here. So you can't see it because if I click on it, it'll go crazy. But there's a little perimeter of teeth in here. Tardigrade is on the make it soon list with yarn. That would be really cool in Switch. Tardigrades are super. We even have a giant plushie of one. And then Quath, the feet hooks are also quite cool. And here, move it over. Quath, the mouth parts are sticking out, and those have these little tooth blades as well. So it's the newt, as Claire put it, also has little blades all over it. You know who? Yes. So it is adorable, Quaff. But you can actually see even the plushie has these little these components on the feet, almost like
Look
those
at its little
paws.
feetsies! Look at its little feetsies! Look at its little feetsies!
And it's the same as in the image. So like, this is called giant microbes. And like they actually do get a fair bit of the physiology and like morphology correct. Are they sharp so they can swim? So Quad, these hooks aren't for swimming, these are for grabbing onto things. So that's why these are kind of not necessarily sharp, but they do have the little hooks on them so they can climb on and hook onto different components. Hi Ratsky! And again, it's just so they can climb and grab various items. They do Linux, and we've caught some before. We'll see if we get any today. Guys, go check out Ratsky, who actually should 3D print some tardigrades. He 3D prints dragons instead. But maybe he'll do some tardigrades. Quath, let's go back to the video. I had to derail because you were asking about the mouth. And there's so many, like, Smike's pointed out too, it's like a nightmare fuel of a photo. Which, you know, it's like, well, Belen, why are you showing us nightmare fuel photos? Because we learn, we're learning about it, and like making cool things that we're learning about, and all the things, you know. Right? Okay. It is a blue bear, Vidal. How you doing, Vidal? Yeah, oh, look at your bear emote. Oh, that's your emote. That's very cutie patootie. That is a super cutie patootie little bear emote. Thank you for that. Very cutie patootie.
Get around this restriction with a process called anhydrobiosis, from the Greek meaning life without water. And however extraordinary, tardigrades aren't alone. Bacteria, single-celled organisms called archaea, plants, and even other animals can all survive drying up. For many tardigrades, this requires that they go through something called a ton state.
This ton state... Hi, Scissorman! The ton state is similar in principle to the dour stage that the nematodes undergo. Because the nematodes can also live without water and can be dehydrated. They actually can be kept in a dish of dried out agar in a fridge in a lab for a couple of years, and they'll come back to life, which is pretty freaking wild if you think about it. The tardigrades can also go for decades in the same manner, and we think it's by two different mechanisms.
Curl up into a ball, pulling their head and 8 legs inside their body, and wait until water returns.
And Quath, this is the trick that you would do if you got a lycan, not a werewolf like Dakum said, but some moss, and pulled it in from the outside and put it in, like, dried it out for a week in the house, and then put it in some water. This is essentially what you're doing. You're replicating this effect. You're drying it out. You're not going to kill it. You dry it out. You put it into some water. You rehydrate it. It comes back, and you'll be able to see it under a microscope. And it's more seems like the difficulty is making sure you find the right kind of moss where you're originally collecting from, rather than just how you're collecting it. Like, once you do the collection itself process is easy. It's just getting the right moss at the beginning, or the right lycan. I love this animation, Smikes. I think the TED Ed people do a really, really good job in, like, the animation of these pieces. And can I just say how much I enjoy that Nightbot has that permasub? That makes things so... and they did it so fast today, Smikes. Like, they got back to me. They were like, okay, how can we... Like, you know, because they got confused. They fixed it, and they just went ahead and right away did it. And I was like, they did a very good job. That made me very happy.
It's thought that as water becomes scarce and tardigrades enter their ton state, they start to synthesize special molecules, which fill the tardigrade cells to replace lost water by forming a matrix. Components of the cells that are sensitive to dryness, like DNA, proteins, and membranes, get trapped in this matrix. It's thought that this keeps these molecules locked in position to stop them from unfolding, breaking apart, or fusing together. Once the organism is rehydrated, the matrix dissolves, leaving behind undamaged, functional cells. Beyond dryness, tardigrades can also tolerate other extreme stresses, being frozen, heated up past the boiling point of water, high levels of radiation, and even the vacuum of outer space. This has led to some erroneous speculation that tardigrades are extraterrestrial beings. While that's fun to think about, scientific evidence places their origin firmly on Earth, where they've evolved over time.
Smikes. Chat, Smikes watched the movie John Wick over the weekend. It is a great series, but the first one, you cannot watch the first 20 minutes of it. And he did not tell me that he was watching it, and he watched the first 20 minutes of it. Smikes, I've watched that movie since, but I always fast forward the first 20 minutes. I can't, after the first time watching it, cannot watch it. And then the rest, Smikes, the other ones in the series, never have that happen again. But it is a very powerful start, Smikes. You want him to take out all the bad guys. So since they're so microscopic, we can't test that. So actually, Quaff, you can use a regular light microscope to see them. So like the microscope that I have here, while it's a good microscope, it's not like anything super expensive. And so you can, they're not so small that you need a very, very specialized piece of equipment. You could see them pretty readily under this kind of microscope here. And that's the same with bacteria that we work with, like E. coli in the lab. So we can test things on them. Very recently, they've started to be able to manipulate their genetics. So you can turn on and off various genes and try to figure out what gene is giving these animals that resistance to radiation. Because if you can identify what gene's actually giving the resistance, one can imagine that you can maybe utilize the genetic information in other avenues of research or even humans, right? Same thing with that preservation matrix, not Keanu Reeves, as Mike says, but if you can preserve the cellular structure by getting that material, whatever it was made in that matrix, and using it to preserve human samples or other samples, like there could be a broad range of tools that we can develop from this. So they are doing work on it, Quaff. They do have the genome sequence. There was a fair bit of controversy about these animals. So Quaff, the researchers were trying to figure out what is the genetic basis of their resistance. So why are they so good at surviving against so many different stressors? And one hypothesis was horizontal gene transfer, meaning genes moved from animals that they were living with or organisms that they were living with and ended up in the tardigrade genomes, and then vice versa. And so that paper came out and suggested that there's huge evidence of horizontal gene transfer, that they lived near these volcanic vents of like high levels of sulfur, and what that meant was the reason they could survive is because they acquired the genes of other organisms that lived in that area. And then you can imagine, like, they could just keep, they're like, was it the X-Men character Apocalypse? Whichever X-Men character, like, would acquire the powers of the others. Not Rogue, but there was one that could, like, pull in the power and just, like, move on and just, like, becomes part of them. I forget who it was, Quaff. But yeah, so the controversy, Quaff, was it turned out that study was all due to contamination. That was the controversy. It wasn't that it was water bears. It was that the way the science was designed was that each sample that they did was actually contaminated by other things. And so when they did the sequencing, they found evidence of the gene transfer, but it was because they didn't purify their samples correctly. And so I think like a couple of months later, they came out with that. A different group came out with a counter paper of like, this original paper is incorrect because of these reasons. Like, they couldn't replicate the findings, and then the original paper went back and checked their samples, and they found out, yes, it was in fact contaminated, and they retracted it. So we still don't know. Custom TV, aka so sneaky. Thank you for the bitties, Custom. How are you doing, guys? If you're not checking out the legendary Custom TV, go drop them a follow. AKA so sneaky. How you doing, my friend? Welcome on in. So yeah, Quaff, because of that paper, we still don't know how this works. Like, since that paper, there hasn't been an answer. That's the controversy of it, of how something like this evolved. Racodactylitis, hello. Glad to hear it got retracted. Was that at the request of the... It was, Raco, yes. So the second group came out with the study that countered it, said that they didn't find the same thing. And then they went in, the original authors went in and looked at the samples. I can't remember if they looked at the the raw sequencing data, or they went back to the original frozen samples and checked them for contamination. They refound them, and then the paper got retracted. So I believe that they did it on their own, Reiko. Yeah. What are you dinnering, Custom? What are you dinnering? Custom, we are chatting about tardigrades right now. The lovely Quoth the Raven had some questions, and so we're diving into it before we look back at our pond water samples. Quoth, if this is okay, I have another video if you're interested in more of their biology, Quoth the Raven. But I never want to spam you with stuff, Quoth. But if you're interested, there's another cool video we can dissect and talk about once we finish this one.
In fact, this earthly evolution has given rise to over 1,100 known species of tardigrades, and there are probably many others yet to be discovered. And because tardigrades are so hardy, they exist just about everywhere. They live on every continent, including Antarctica. And they're in diverse biomes, including deserts, ice sheets, the sea, fresh water, rainforests, and the highest mountain peaks. But you can find tardigrades in the most ordinary places too, like moss or lichen found in yards, parks, and forests. All you need to find them is a little patience and a microscope. Scientists are now trying to find out whether tardigrades use the tun state, their anti-drying technique, to survive other stresses. If we can understand how they and other creatures...
Quoth, if you just say yes, and it's not a derail, we're continuing on that route. You just gotta tell me yes, Quoth. That's all I need.
...stabilize their sensitive biological molecules, perhaps we could apply this knowledge to help us stabilize vaccines, or to develop stress-tolerant crops that can cope with Earth's changing climate. And by studying how tardigrades survive prolonged exposure to the vacuum of outer space, scientists can generate clues about the environmental limits of life. And
so we don't know if they're invasive or not, Smikes, because we don't know where they originally came from. So we don't have the original data, right? With some invasive species, we know we've moved them around. I know he has Music Girl. You think he's... Chat, go follow Jimmy. He go follow Jimmy B. He's right there. Look, he's very handsome. Little pats right there on his head. Got lovely hair. Hi, Jimmy. Tickle, 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 tickle. Oh! Music Girl, he just got tickled. He just got tickled, Music Girl. Not when, so we know when they showed up in evolutionary time, but physical location. Like, all of a sudden, like, where are the original states? If we moved them ourselves, like, you know, we moved creatures on boats during colonization, or just importing and exporting and those kinds of things, that we don't know of, because there's not enough. Like, you can't pinpoint geographic origin with the genomics data that we have. Sometimes you can, but not with these. So the only invasive example I know, Smikes, is I believe there have been accidental contamination of space tools where there's tardigrades on there.
How to safeguard astronauts. In the process, tardigrades could even help us answer a critical question. Could life survive on planets much less hospitable than our own?
Alright, Quoth is excited to learn more about tardigrades. Let's do a little bit more tardigrades. So this Quoth is a little bit more of a, it's not the animated style appearance, but rather we're actually doing a little bit more in depth and like look and see how it looks like what the tardigrades look like under a microscope. Tomorrow's many tiny cameras. I mean, I wonder if we'd be able to mount anything on them, Smikes. I'm sure the government has some technology of like small cameras by this stage. Speaking of technology, folks, if you're not already checking out our lovely stream team leaders, Derek and Devin and Mocha Maid, please go follow Derek and Devin. Oh, Mocha Maid! Go follow them. Go follow them, chat. Go follow them. So, Quoth, there are the hooks with the feet that we just saw a minute ago, like it was on the plushie. And we saw in the images, there's some of the internal organs. There's some a lot of, it's called fat body tissue. So fat body is the adipose equivalent in these animals. It's also the same terminology as where you look at the fat cells in insects, called the fat body. Again, it's just a conglomeration of fat cells around the gut area of the animal. Different terminology, but same principle as with humans.
Now, we didn't want to start this channel out with a video about tardigrades. We wanted to share at least a bit about some of the other mind-blowing organisms of the microcosmos first. But we also knew it wasn't going to be long before we got to them. We are, it must be admitted, tardigrade enthusiasts. And we've been excited to watch as a fair number of people have joined.
And Quaff, this is the kind that we found, I guess, about a year ago. This is what our little creature looked like. So again, I'm hoping we'll be able to find some more over the summer. Because again, it's one of the coolest things. And I moved the secondary microscope next to the dissecting scope. So now, because both are side by side, it'll be really easy to move the sample from one scope to the other, so we'll be able to get closer zoom in looks at them. At least that's my big hope, Quaff. We can get something like this too.
Joined us in that enthusiasm. However, of course, and we're not mad about this, the popular narratives about tardigrades have, in their enthusiasm, gotten a few things less than correct, and also skipped over some of the most interesting facets of this celebrity of the microcosmos. So, tardigrades. They're chubby, and they have heads and legs and butts, and they look, at first glance, somewhat familiar. That's why we sometimes call them water bears, or even better, in our opinion, moss piglets.
And Quaff, I wholeheartedly agree with you. At first glance, I see no resemblance to a bear. Even though they're talking about like, oh, it looks very much like a bear. I'm agreeing with you. I don't see it. I think the piglet maybe is a little closer, but I definitely see the caterpillar movement that you were talking about.
Because they are often in the aquatic environments that cling to mosses. But they are also very unlike macro animals. For one thing, they have 8 legs. For another thing, they are not closely related to anything else on Earth. Though taxonomists are still fighting about this, the leading system places tardigrades inside of a clade called Tactopoda that includes 2 groups. There's tardigrades, and there's something called Euarthropoda. And that other clade includes basically every bug. Insects, arachnids, even crustaceans and trilobites. The organism that branched away from tardigrades has literally millions of species as its ancestor, but the branch that tardigrades sit on, just tardigrades.
So Quaff, in terms of evolutionary lineage, you are 100% right in that it's more closely related to insects like caterpillars versus anything else. We can look at them on the Tree of Life, indeed, Smikes. Let me see if I have one pulled up. We don't have the window, that's fine. We'll do exclamation point tree. And there we go. So this is the Tree of Life tool that we use because it's a very good visual look. And seeing how these, like, where everything falls in the Tree of Life. It's not always the most up-to-date piece. But it's still quite good. So this is the branching point of the water bear. You have insects going this way. So there is the common ancestor. So right here, tardigrades branch, and then here you have insects, spiders, beetles, and before that you have, let me make sure, who is this? Who is this? Is this our nematode? Yes, I believe so. Come on now. Yeah, so that's the nematode. C. elegans. I just wanted to make sure. So right here are Ellie elegans on that one. Yep, there is Ellie right there, Quaff. A little bit earlier in there. Hi, Pimpcat! Welcome in, Pimpcat. Yes, we are talking about the tardigrade. Earlier in the Tree of Life, and earlier there's some rotifers, protozoans.
Bum, bum, bum. Got any grapes?
Hi, Mr. B. Chat, if you're not checking out the legendary one, the only Mr. Jimmy B93, go check out Mr. Jimmy B93, who was shouting at me while he was live. Guys, go check out Jimmy B93. Mr. B, how was Music Girl Monday? How was Pokemon Snap? Did you catch all the Pokemon, Mr. Jimmy B? Did you catch all the Pokemon, Mr. B? I hope he did, Jimmy. I hope he caught all the Pokemon. Chat, go check out Jimmy B. Go check out Jimmy B. Right, Travel the World? We should absolutely all follow Jimmy B93. Jimmy, we pulled you up on the laptop and I gave you head pats. It was beautiful, Jimmy. It was very beautiful. I hope all is well. We're looking and talking about tardigrades and looking at how the genetic relatedness are. So what is this water bear related to? So this whole... So really, like, so this is the branch point.
Music Girl, please, I don't want to get it together, I'm scared.
Thank you, Music Girl. Music Girl! Did you catch all the Pokemons with Jimmy? Did you take pictures of all the Pokemons? So Pimpcat, this branch point is tardigrades on this branch, and here is everything else: insects, arachnid, and more. And so if we zoom in on this tree here, you can see there's different species of tardigrades. There's currently 1,100 species discovered, but I will have to bet there's probably a whole lot more that has not been talked about. It was his turn for Pokemon pictures. Pokemon's pictures. I backseated. Music Girl. It's Music Girl Monday. It's not Music Girl Monday Jimmy B Day. Jimmy did some false advertising today, y'all. It's okay, Jimmy. I love you, Jimmy, but we can't keep doing this, Jimmy. Otherwise, I'll make tears, Jimmy. I'll make tears if we continue down this road, Jimmy B. But yeah, so we're just looking at this delineation between tardigrades right now. And what's cool about this Pimpcat is that this part of the tree here, it's all tardigrades. There's nothing else that they're closely related to. Thing behind Music Girl Monday was initially that Jimmy would play games and I've already beaten out to help him through it. Hi, Time Diplodocus. Tommy, did you see there's also Darth Vader and Grogu Antonias as well? And that's only for the month of May, Tommy, so enjoy it while you can. June will bring you Marvel ants. We'll have Marvel characters for June. Pimpcat, the common ancestor here. What on earth did I just click on? I have no idea why it took me there. The common ancestor of tardigrades and insects is not currently identified. We don't know what it would be. Point of Music Girl Mondays is either play the games together or have her guide me through games she's already played and I haven't. But I thought Music Girl Mondays was just a way to have Jimmy not just the guiding, but us to learn about you and Music Girl, and to have, Music Girl teach you about how to do things and what to do things. It's a whole thing. So Pimpcat, we do know that they are, in terms of genetic relatedness, so these are the closest thing that they're a relation to. So ladybugs, there's the tardigrades, spiders, springtails, mantises, bees, wasps, and more. But what is the original species that links all these together that currently isn't alive? Yeah, Linux Switch. It is a beautiful site. It's also, it can be nauseating when you see it spin. To an extent, she does for the very best yields me for not taking good enough photos. Listen, Jimmy. Not everyone can take great photos on Pokemon Snap. I know I can't, but Lita and I love playing the new Pokemon Snap together. Before the little one was born, that's what we played together, and it was a lot of fun, Jimmy. We have not played together the remake or re-release of the original. I asked Lita if she wanted to play it, but she wasn't sure because she liked the new one so much. She wasn't sure if it was something that we should go back to. So, Quath, the caterpillars would be like the intermediate stage, right? So you'd have egg, caterpillar, or larva, and then you'd have pupa case or the chrysalis, and then you'd have the adult stage. So there would still be that caterpillar there. New Snap is also a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one. It is a great game, Jimmy. It is. That game is good enough to justify getting a Switch, in my mind. What is the website here? It's a Paw Prints. This is a Tree of Life website where you can look at genetic relatedness of different animals. We're just looking to see where tardigrades were located. For the because Quath was Spikes was wondering about what Quath was wondering.
Though there are over 1,000 described tardigrade species, and there are likely many times more than that out there. But nonetheless, they do look a lot like bears with their claws and stumpy 4 pairs of legs. Tardigrades hover right on the edge of microscopic. They range widely in size, from 50 microns long to 1,200 microns, but usually they're under 500 microns in size.
Does Tree of Life have plants too? Pimpcat, I cannot remember if that also has plants on there. I believe they do. I believe that they do have plants also on that website. They're quite thorough on there, and they're always updating it because there will be releases of new genomes. Like Pimpcat, there are almost weekly new species discovered, and that's in part based on genetic sequencing, and in other parts based on rediscovery and reclassification, because sometimes there'll be misclassified things that are then updated. It's a whole beautiful series. Yeah.
Tardigrades can be found in 3 major aquatic environments. Some live in marine or brackish water, others in fresh waters like ponds, lakes, and rivers, and then there are the terrestrial habitats. But this isn't exactly what it sounds like. See, tardigrades do live on what we would consider land, but they live in films of water clinging to plants and dirt. This thin film, though nearly invisible to us, can be a tardigrade's whole world. But these films can easily dry up in the daytime, which is part of why tardigrades are so good at surviving difficult situations, which, of course, we will be discussing shortly. They occupy almost every place on Earth, from the Arctic to the Antarctic, from soil to beach sand, rivers, lakes, streams, on mosses, lichens, algae, and plants. We know of a couple of places where we can almost certainly find them waddling around in samples we take, and we will make a whole episode about that process, but that's for later. Although they are aquatic, tardigrades don't swim, they kind of walk. In freshwater, they live among vegetation and mainly feed on the cell contents of plants and algae by piercing the cells with the 2 stylets they have in their mouth part. But some species eat single-celled organisms or even other microanimals, including rotifers, and also other tardigrades.
So Quath, they have a little tooth item that they use to pierce the creatures, just like it was mentioning. So, again, the nightmare fuel has a purpose.
Some species of tardigrades have eyes, besides helping them look super cute. They also boggle the mind because they aren't eyes. To be an eye, you have to be an organ. And to be an organ, you have to be composed of tissues that are themselves composed of cells, but each tardigrade eye is, in fact, a single photoreceptive cell. That is wild. On their whole body, sometimes containing tens of thousands of cells, they have 2 cells. And those 2 cells are their 2 little eyes. Tardigrades are also covered in a kind of skin or shell called a cuticle. Coloration is produced by the pigmentation of the cuticle and also the content of the digestive tract. Gray, bluish, yellow, brown, reddish, or brown are all common colors. This cuticle always stays the same size, and so it must be shed as the tardigrade grows. Some species of tardigrades lay their eggs into this cuticle, which expands to hold them, and then, when the cuticle is shed, the eggs stay inside, giving them an extra layer of protection from roving predators. If those eggs manage to avoid being eaten, they will hatch into tiny little tardigradelets that, oddly enough, have the same number of cells that they will always have. But their cells, and thus their bodies, will grow larger.
In a way, Smikes, there is a kind of molting that they have. Yeah, they're molting. Yeah, it is strange. Their biology is very fascinating. It would be cool to catch one molting, but I don't think we've ever even seen one that has you can see if there's a bunch of eggs inside. They're on the more mature side, but
tardigrades are marvelously complex for such tiny animals. They have digestive systems and salivary glands, even small brains. The most complex have over 40,000 cells, and yes, when they are done extracting nutrients from their food, they have to get rid of it, just like the rest of us. Of course, tardigrades are best known for their survival skills. Many species have the ability to survive environmental extremes, such as temperatures as low as negative 272 degrees Celsius and as high as 150 degrees Celsius.
Hi, Digital Dak, welcome in.
Extreme radiation, extreme pressures as high as 6,000 atmospheres. NASA sent a bunch of tardigrades to outer space and brought them back alive after exposing the animals to the vacuum of space and extreme radiation from the sun. A tardigrade may have a lifespan of a couple of weeks to more than 100 years. A museum specimen of a dried moss that was in a herbarium for 120 years.
Aw, Marianne, thank you so much. That makes me really happy. I'm glad that you like them. Yeah, even 120 years they were able to survive dried out.
Yielded active tardigrades when soaked in water.
That ton state they were in.
Tardigrades are able to survive these extremely hostile conditions by undergoing a process known as cryptobiosis. In cryptobiosis, the metabolism of the tardigrades can lower to less than 0.01% of normal. And when conditions get better, the tardigrades simply get back to life. There are actually several kinds of cryptobiosis. In anhydrobiosis, tardigrades are dealing with a lack of water, and they curl up into a ball called a tun to survive being all dried up. A glass-like protective sugar, trehalose, is synthesized, and it replaces the water in the cells of the tardigrades. This sugar prevents crucial parts of the cells from getting damaged during water loss, and it lets tardigrades survive the dry period. Anoxibiosis occurs when there's insufficient oxygen. The body of the tardigrade swells and becomes rigid and turgid. There's no movement, and the tardigrade looks dead. This sometimes happens in our prepared slides, so when it happens, we simply blow air into the slide from the side for around 10 seconds, and that is enough to increase the oxygen concentration and revive the water bear. And there are...
So imagine that your sample is getting dehydrated and all you have to do is... And then all of a sudden it comes right back. Like, I don't know. I think that's really, really cool.
There are other types of cryptobiosis, such as cryobiosis, where tardigrades can withstand extremely low temperatures, and osmobiosis, where they can withstand changes in osmotic pressure. One of the misconceptions about tardigrades is that they are immortal. They are resistant to these extreme conditions when they are in tun state, but otherwise, they're actually quite delicate animals and can be hurt and killed easily. Because of their small size, tardigrades are eaten by some even bigger single-celled organisms. In this video, we managed to record a close encounter between a tardigrade and a giant eukaryote. We don't even know what this single-celled organism here is. Let us know if you think you can identify it. But it could easily eat the tardigrade and digest it. But this lucky little one managed to escape, and even damaged the cell of the eukaryote in the process. And in this clip, we have a happy tardigrade waddling on one of the most dangerous residents of the ponds, a brown hydra.
Hi, Rebecca. How's it going? Welcome in, first-time chatter. Rebecca, we're hoping we might be able to find a tardigrade today. I'm not optimistic on us finding one today, but we have found some in the past. Welcome on in. No nervous system crack. No idea if they feel pain. There's a very rudimentary system in there, Smikes. They are multicellular, so there must be some kind of rudimentary nervous system in there. It's hard to dissect what pain is on these kinds of animals. For example, Smikes, a fruit fly larva reacts to like a hot probe. If you have a metal probe and you heat it up and you touch them, they will roll away from it. But is that just a reaction to a sensation, or is it actually pain? And that's something that a lot of people don't know. No, not your bet. No, it's something important to point out, Smikes, because there was a recent study on fruit fly larvae and how they react to this kind of like touch of heat, and all the media called it all pain, and there was a whole debate then on if there should be research on these animals if we're causing them pain. But then the counter argument is you don't actually know if it's pain or not, or if it's just the response to a stimulus. And so it seems these animals have a response to a stimulus, but whether or not it's actually feeling something like on the order of pain, if I had to bet based on what the biology that they have, is that they're probably not complicated enough to be able to perceive something like pain, but they can probably perceive sensation. But again, the line between the two is very thin, and I would say it's dependent on the nervous system that evolves along with the animal. We can't stick them into tiny MR. That's right, Spikes. We don't have we do have the fruit fly MRI machine equivalent, where you can actually see inside of the fruit fly, but actually being able to identify, they'd have to be stationary, so you'd probably have to put them into the tun state, maybe by depriving them of oxygen. That is not like I don't know, you can't tie down a tardigrade to be able to see that, so maybe eventually we'll have the tech to play with it.
Hydra's tentacles are armed with something called nematocysts. These are like tiny harpoons that are fired upon contact to immobilize the Hydra's prey. This water bear was either very lucky or too small to activate the nematocysts, and so got away from a heartbreaking end. Tardigrades are not extremophiles. They do not enjoy living in extreme conditions. They're just good at surviving them. In that way, maybe they are something like us. We also sometimes live through situations we thought would be impossible to survive. But all things being equal, both tardigrades and us just want a nice place to live, plenty of yummy food, and whenever possible, to not be exposed to the vacuum of space.
Enjoy is another humanizing term. I think they probably use it if there's any likelihood that their survival and fitness has a decrease if they're in regions of extreme, like temperature or water or air or pressure or radiation. Their survival rate most likely goes down. While most can survive, it probably is like a death curve, faster death than if they were just in the water. And I think that's why they're using the term enjoy, which is, again, Smikes points out, isn't like really the appropriate term here to use.
We are so happy that these friends share their world with us, so often just outside of our notice, but successfully chomping their way through the microcosmos for more than 500 million years. And just in case you wanted to see it again. That's good. Thank you for coming on this journey with us through the unseen world that surrounds us. If you want to see more from our master of microscopes, James, check out Jam and Germs on Instagram. And if you want to see more from us here at Journey to the Microcosmos, I bet there's a subscribe button somewhere nearby.
It did just poop, Smikes. Yes, it did. They do make poops. They do lay eggs. Fascinating creatures. So, Quoth, did that raise more questions for you, my friend, or are you satisfied with some of the answers that we acquired? Let me know, Quoth. We're gonna try to hunt for some tardigrades. Again, I'm not optimistic of today us finding any tardigrades. Why? So, Quoth, I didn't have any mosses that I threw into the water today. Last week, I tried throwing mosses into the water earlier, and it didn't, like, the sample last week just, like, didn't end up looking right, and, like, a lot of things seemed off about it. So today I just went ahead and collected some sample from the water just right away and just got some of the weed stuff from the water sample. So we're going to look around and see if we can find anyone, but we'll have to see. No nematodes today either, because the nematodes we've been getting a bunch in the moss samples. All of our Ellie elegans. And we will Quoth, I need to futz around and put a little animation on the Jedi Ellie, because I think a lot of people do like
Victory
little Ellie elegans. And maybe we need to give her a little bit of a Jedi animation. Well, Quoth, I will maul Quoth the Raven. I will maul. All right, let's see what else we can find in our samples here. All right, so there's a couple of things in here. We adjust our lighting a little bit. Yeah, and Smikes, I need to work on that super secret one that we talked about too. It's on the to-do list. So there was in here, maybe she can cut Darth. No, maybe. So it seems like there's that worm again that Cliff found, that nematode-like creature. And you can see it's... So the article Cliff found demonstrated that these also will split into two different sections, and it looks like there's actually a splitting happening right in the middle. So you can see there's like a scrunched up region in two different ends of this creature, here and here. And that's most likely microtubule, so really like the thin fibrous cellular support system that's probably making like a drawstring like feel and look to it to pull the animal apart. It's the same machinery that's being used when two cells divide and undergo cytokinesis, which is, again, when you end up with having the two cells. The very last step of mitosis. And my guess is it's probably a very similar mechanism at play right here. Beyond that, there's a bunch of Ostracods in here, it looks like. And it's interesting, they do have this, like, red color in there, and I wonder if they've been eating something with red, like whatever this decay is down here, because that's usually we don't see them with that flavor of red. But really cool to be able to see it. Cliff, thank you again for IDing that little nematode-like creature. 3 hours later, hi, Coffee Rocks. I'm so sorry. Coffee Rocks. I hope the new job is going well. More importantly, I'm sorry about the mortgage dealing. There's always something, like, too much Coffee Rocks. It's just, you need to have a good time, relax, to be able to kick back and then just enjoy stuff. But instead, it's just gonna be like, oh, there's this thing and 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 this thing, and it just keeps going. It's going great. Excellent, Coffee Rocks. Coffee Rocks, we'll get you some hype. I'm really glad it's going well, Coffee Rocks. We found some creatures in here. I'll take some images. Remember, y'all, if you like the pictures that we've been taking, they're not anything special in terms of quality, but one of my things on my agenda is to find the camera that we have that we can maybe hook up to this. Smikes, I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting. I found one of the cameras, Smikes. It's a Nikon, but it's one with the detachable lens. And I think I need to use the other one that doesn't have the detachable lens. I just need to find where it is. I think it was downstairs during the flood, and so probably it's on a tabletop somewhere. And so we'll find it and buy an attachment to the camera and hopefully get better resolution images on the microscope. The detachable should work. Okay. I know the lens is... Okay, I'll send you that model number, Smikes. We can try that one out if the detachable works. I'll shoot it over to you tonight or tomorrow. We're going to try to update the camera. It's a macro. It has a macro attachment. It's not a high-end macro, but it does have one like that. The microscope number 2. All I know is offhand that it's a C-mount. Which... I think that's all you need to know, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, Professor Smikes. Hope to have upgrades coming to y'all soon that we can get better cameras up in here. Increase the res of this and make things look nicer. Okay. Alright, y'all. We're going to scoot through the rest of these wells and see what all we can find. I'm going to take a quick BRB, but instead of putting up the BRB screen, I'm just going to leave it on this because I think the animals are quite cool to see. So I'm going to grab some more water and use the restroom, and then we'll continue our look on this. And again, I'm just going to leave up this view because I think it's kind of neat to see the live animals and seeing what they are hanging out. And if you guys, as always, see something cool, make sure to... I love you, Professor Smikes. Don't go anywhere, folks. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You're in good company. You're in good hands as well.
Victory screech!
Gucci.
He was meowing. He was meowing, and he wants to say hi. He wants to say hi to the chat. What do you think, Barles? Yeah? You want to say hi to everyone? He was sitting outside the door just meowing. How do you feel, buds? We good? It is Barley, Pimcat. Yeah? We have not snuggled enough today? Is that the issue? Yeah, it might be the issue. Alright. We have to let him out because he attacks the green screen. It's his nemesis.
Hey, Bubbles, man!
Bubbles indeed, Michael Hassler. How you doing, Rebecca? Alright. Let's go over to the next well. Alright. So there's something in here. Profusion of gnats. Apparently no mod parts. Ooh. I think gnats can have... Some can have mouth parts, some can't. It just depends on the lifestyle. Some don't actually need to eat. The green screen mess with the cat's eyes. I have no... He's the only one pimp cat. The others are not aggressive towards it. It's just Barley. He really does not care for the green screen. I think it's because Alex Vixen one day said that it was his nemesis, and then I think he decided that was all true, and he made it a nemesis, a nemesi even, possibly. We do have some kind of... Hi, Dino Dave. The stickers turned up. Heck yeah. Dino Dave, I'm so glad it showed up. I always get nervous when we ship down under, my friend. There's no reason why I should get nervous, but it takes forever, and then I can't control. I'm glad it arrived. They're thick and crunchy underfoot. Poor players. Yeah, they are. Dino Dave, hopefully you're doing well. I'm looking at this mass of Ostracods, and there's some kind of flatworm looped in here as well. You can see part of its body here. Unclear to me if they're all feeding on the same thing or they're trying to feed on the worm here. We can separate them out and see if that gives us a better view of what's going on here. Hoping Dino Dave on the possibility of finding some flavor of tardigrade, but I didn't put any moss in today, and so I'm guessing that we're probably not going to find any. I think this is the same worm as what Cliff was showing us earlier. It's just a bigger size. There we go. There's that little one. Working on a Norosaurus build. It's not going well. Might put it off and do an... Oh, very cool. Very cool, Dino Dave. Well, if you're hitting a wall... A little bit of a break is always good, too. Yeah, there's that little worm. It looks like things aren't rushing back on it, so... My bet is maybe they were going after the same prey. Although, I don't know, that Ostracod seems very interested in it. Majority done by the middle of this year. The nice thing, Dino Dave, is that you can keep adding. You can keep adding and never run out of things. 3 years into one that's fair, Dino Dave. Wonder if it's this chaotic they really look like they're just chilling in their own world. So, my bet, Quoth, is that there's a fair bit of chaos here. The reason being is we moved them from their original habitat, which is already moved from the lake. And so this little vial of water has mosses in it, and also like sea mosses and some plant material, like unknown. Like, looks like there's a little piece of bark in there, and then water and debris and whatnot. So moving them out of this into like this more, while there's still dirt here, it's much cleaner than what they were in just a moment ago. It's still their own water, so they're not getting like any osmotic or water shock. But I bet that it's still a surprise to their system to being into this, especially if any were hiding in the mosses or hanging out from other ones. Any jam in that jar? Not anymore. Actually, our lovely neighbor gives us these jars, Marianne, because she knows that Lita likes to do some like jamming and preserves, and they're perfect for it, right? They're really, really good jars. I just took one to use it for sample collection. And it is not getting used for jams on that one. Yeah, we are just overwhelmed on Ostracods today, y'all. It's kind of cool. You can see earlier developmental stages with the various colors. So like the light color ones are younger or recently shed, and then the older ones are this darker shade of color here. And Quad, that's just my guess based on like it's so different. Similar things will happen if I move like ants from a colony over on to a different location. Even if they're still together, it's just that new area kind of shocked their system. And there's another one of those worms in the background that Cliff looked at. We'll take that picture. A date my first stream, May 8th, 2046. Coffee Rocks. Why? What happens then? Coffee. Why that date? Coffee Rocks. I need to know some details. Coffee Rocks. Why that day? What are we up to that day? Why is that the big celebration stream? Coffee Rocks. What's happening on that day? Coffee Rocks. Tell me. Now I need to know, Coffee Rocks. Now I need to know. Or at least I would very much like to know. I'm going to try to spread out this sample and see if we can get any more detail from this, because there's a fair bit of just almost like a junk-like material. It might be neater if we can spread it out. I'm 86 earlier in that year. Coffee Rocks, let's do it. Let's do it, Coffee Rocks. Hi, Pootrick. What is this, Pootrick? This is a sample of water from a nearby lake. Also makes you wonder what you should do with respect to pond and lake water. Maybe don't drink it. Maybe be careful on pulling in any of that liquid. Yes, so Pootrick, that is an interesting thing, right? Because normally, or I don't know, maybe it's just me, no one said like, oh, really be careful and don't drink it. Is that shrimp? So Nero's, welcome in, first time chatter. There's no shrimp in here. We did last week found a crayfish. These are ostracods. They're swimming around a bunch of dirt, and then this here, it looks like some kind of encasing either of a former animal, maybe this was formerly a crawfish, or it's just some other kind of debris. it's too difficult, I think, to make out what exactly this might be, which is too bad, but it's still kind of neat to see. Let's move. I'm going to spread it out a little bit and see if we can get any more. Let's see. If I look at it underneath. Okay. So for the shrimp question, make sure we're getting at the right spot. So I flipped it inside out. Neros, it's flipped inside out here, and you can see the internal shell. And the internal shell is pretty empty. And it doesn't look to me as much of a shrimp-like appearance after I flipped it inside out on the other side. It looks more just like a thin piece of bark or some kind of random cuticle. Nothing too wild, nothing too crazy, but that, if I had to guess, I would suggest that's what it might be. Oh, this pond water has come to life. Isn't it cool, Coffee? Like, we had a couple of, like, almost dud weeks where it was like, yeah, there may or may not be some little something here, but it's really cool to be able to see, like, more of this. Pootrick, those are the Ostracods swimming around here. We'll try to... let me spread the debris out in this well, and maybe we'll see a little bit more detail. Go. And there you can see there's one of those worms that also splits its bodies behind my head. The regenerating one, as Cliff pointed out earlier. Here's actually one piece of that worm that split off.
It's alive! Alive! I've always wanted to say that.
Thank you, Coffee Rocks. So yeah, it's teeming with life, and I really love seeing how much is going on in here. It's really, really cool. I'm not sure what this is. I think this is, again, just some kind of debris. I don't think that this is anything alive. But sometimes it's tough to tell based on this kind of res as well. Magnification, Neros, right now we're doing 20 magnification. The microscope that we have comes with a base 10x, so 10 times magnification, and then we can zoom up to 40 times magnified. The second microscope that we have can go up to 600 magnification. But this is our dissecting scope, and then the light microscope is right next to it. The thing, what is jetting back and forth? My guess is it's probably an Ostracod. Like over on the side, Marianne. He starts zooming around. How much does it cost to get scopes like that? Depends on your price range, Neros. There are some that have the pre-built viewing port for the camera. There are others that hook onto the eye port for the camera. There's some that don't come with the camera, so you got a pretty good range on them. And then there's higher end ones as well. Better optics. There's ones with fluorescence options. There's ones with better cameras, so you can have a whole gambit of anywhere from $200 to $300 to several $1,000s in terms of like what you desire for it to do. Ariella, hi! Hi, Ariella Studies. How's it going, Ariella? How's it going? We're examining our pond water now, Ariella, before we round out our evening. Ariella, we've gotten some rotifers, we've gotten some worms, and a whole bunch of ostracods. No nematodes today, that's true. But we do have our little ostracods feeding here. No tardigrades either. We'll try for the tardigrades. Try again next week from it. It's some kind of Crohn's. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ariella. I hope, ooh, I forget your significant other's name. I hope the significant other is there. and got you some food, and also got you some flowers. Why flowers? Don't know, but I just, you know, flowers are nice. Jason! Oh, yes, that's right, because named after JavaScript object notation.
Jason!
Not really, Ariella, but, you know, I can't, that continually helped me. Jason! Of course. If food's, that's, well, it's Mike's, I just want her to be happy, Mike's, to be taken care of. He got the things I needed. That's a very good gentleman. Ariel. Please give Jason a hug from us, if you can. Or if he's already left, then give him a virtual hug via text. If you can't do that, we'll give him a hug on our own next time we see him. And everything else under the sun. We like to get fancy. Here. Sometimes we get very fancy. Alright. Let's keep looking, y'all. And see if we can ID anything else in here. I'm saving the mosses and the weeds for the very end. Another one of our giant worms. I know, I'm so sorry, Smikes. Smikes, I don't know, it's still cool though. Coffee Rocks will argue, I think Coffee would suggest that what we still saw is quite cool. We got a lot of worms, we got a lot of Ostracods. I think it's a nice foil to have the dead samples, the preserved samples in the amber, and then for us to look at the living samples in the pond water. It's kind of another reason why I really like the Microscopy Monday is we can look at past worlds and current worlds as well, and they're all little unique places that they're living in as we're checking them out, and I don't know, it makes me all warm and fuzzy inside because you have no idea, right, what is outside in your world. But I have a microscope, and dang it all, just get a scoop of water and we'll just see what's living in there. And then also, if nothing else convinces us that we shouldn't just be drinking pond water. Like, unfiltered water has a bunch of microbes in it, and we need to be careful in what we're having. Hi, NMD! Guys, NMD96 is in his house on the partner pool.
It is forsaken and forgiven, NMD. You can be, instead of our destroyer, our hero, NMD. Please help us as we conquer the universe.
She's also, folks, on Donna This Would Be Barber. She has a beautiful new cat named Marley. And Marley is a handsome good boy. He's a very handsome good boy. How is Marley doing tonight? I hope he's amazing. I hope he's snuggling in your lap, giving all you the purrs that you would ever want, and he's getting treats and all things of fancy puns. A nematode up to the left. He's a delight. Excellent. We're looking at our little pond water. This is not one, Smikes. This little worm, it doesn't have pointy tips. That's really the telltale sign of a nematode, is that it has to be like almost a needle-like thickness or thinness, I suppose, at the tips. Looked big and not, wait. It looked big, those, and not pointy. If it's not pointy, yeah, then it's not our little nematode friend. This one might be relative of the Planarians. Cliff pointed out earlier, it looks like their biology is one that they split. And that splitting is how they reproduce. So it's not clear if they're splitting as a type of regenerative biology like we've seen with the Planarians, or they're just reproducing by budding, which there are plenty of organisms that do that as well. Marley's best does smell very bad, otherwise he's perfect. Listen, NMD, I am one of those people who very much enjoys the cat breath, and Lita's always like, why do you enjoy the cat breath? I'm like, I don't know, because it's like sweet. So like what Noodle does, NMD, she comes up to my face and she puts her nose in my mouth, and then I blow on her nose, and then she opens up her mouth and she blows on my nose, like exhales on my nose. I don't know why we do it. I don't know what started us doing this, but she does that to me, and she knows she's learned to only do it to me. She just no longer does it to Lita, because Lita does not much care for that. It is quite weird, but it makes me extreme smile. But then I encounter the meat breath. Wait, giving the kisses is good. And you want to give him all the kisses, because he deserves for the raid. Can't control where or how the language is part of the love about it. It's Flash. It kind of reminds me of the art where, I don't know, I'm sure you've seen this, but they get this paint bucket on the string and throw them, or spin them, and the pattern they make on the canvas, while, you know, uncontrolled in the sense of where it lands, always like it looks really, really beautiful at the end. Enemy, thank you for the lurk. I love the class of enjoy your lurk, NMD. One more follower. I also post painting videos on TikTok with mental health. Oh, very cool, Flash. Hi, Spectre. Spectre, can you help our friend Flash? Spectre Flight, our friend Flashstick here. Spectre Flight is one follow away. Spectre Flight, one single follow away from hitting that 50 follower goal, so they can apply for affiliate. It's the final push. Spectre Flight is just the last. We need one more follower to get them on over. They do bubble artwork. Spectre. Thank Spectre, my friend. Spectre did it, folks. Y'all. Flashstick, we did it. Flashstick, we got you the 50 followers, Flash. Flashstick. All right, Flash, when you get affiliate, please let us know. And Flash, if you're ever in the mood for sharing, please share your art in the Discord. We'd love to see it. As long as they don't do anything improper, I don't care what they do. I support. They do bubble art. Spectre. So they blow bubbles with paint on canvas, and it looks really, really beautiful. And y'all, if we're already doing the follow, also go follow our friend Spectre Flight. Gamer extraordinaire is Spectre Flight. Go check out Spectre. Thank you, Spectre. Listen, my friend, I would not tell you to do it if I didn't believe in the person that we were shouting out. And I appreciate the heck out of you, Spectre. Welcome on in, my friend. We're just wrapping up some microscopy. Game Rager? Well, I mean, all the things, Spectre. A gamer extraordinaire. Or you also rage sometimes. It's fine. It's all fine, Spectre. It's all fine. Okay. So yes, for the raiders coming on in, we are looking at some microscopic worlds. And we're going to see what we can ID here. This was a batch of the Spectre. I saw it, but I'm live when you got it. So I have not checked it. And also, Spectre, just so you know, I rarely check my inbox on TikTok because I get spammed a lot. So if I don't respond right away, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just because I don't check it. Instead, it's mostly my pet dinosaur. That's okay. That's okay, Flash. I would say if you have the opportunity to upload them, like some of the art to an Insta, just so there's like a nice collection site to show off all the pieces, that is very helpful. Usually when someone raids in doing art, I go straight to an Instagram, just so we can cycle through a couple of examples of art pieces. Never necessary, but just exciting to have. Flash, feel free to drop in the account, drop the link in the chat, Flashstick. Or yeah, we can make a separate. That's fair. You can make a second account as well. Feetsies indeed, Spectre Flight. No worries at all, Flash. It's just fun to show off people's work. Spectre, sometimes there are tardigrades in these mosses, which is why I grabbed some. Though it looks... And there's also really cool carnivorous plants in here sometimes. It's very early in the season, so I'm betting that we don't have any. And given that the Ostracods are one of their prey, they will usually get eaten by it's like mossy wart, but not caught here. It looks like they're too early on. It's Spectre. The Feetsies command is still there, but you're not subbed, my friend. So it would probably be better to keep the personal up. That's so. Flash. I have like a professional one, a stream one, and then a personal one. I have 3 different Instagrams. But most of it is just the SciAnts one that I post on, and it's, science related things. And the personal one is just I follow bands and sports and stuff like that. Oh, and I made one for our cat, Noodle. Noodle has one. Taco also had one as well. And then Robert the Penguin has as well. No worries at all, Spectre Flight. No worries at all, Spectre. But here's Spectre House. Let me see if I can find it on my board. There's too many buttons as it is, Spectre Flight. It's somewhere on here, Spectre. Oh, there it is.
Look at its little feetsies! Look at its little feetsies!
There you go, Spectre. Oh, there's actually a mossy wart right there. It looks like an old one, but that'll be part of these plants. Again, they're carnivorous, and they'll, like, pop in. Remember, we rescued an Ostracod last year from it. Hi, Class Calico. About to go to bed, but I thought I'd say hi. Hello, Class Calico. Perfect timing. We were just wrapping. Anonymous! Anonymous, thank you for the tier 1. Gives it to Spectre Flight. Spectre, enjoy the ad-free viewing. The emotes made with love, and please thank the Anonymous gifter. Thank you, Anonymous. Hope you enjoy, Spectre.
Out? Let's go!
Oh my god, Moko, we were just talking about you. Derek Devin! I mean, is this Team Derek or is this Team Dev? Who's there? Is it, which of the supermodel twinzos are here? Team Dare! Hi, Dare! Chat, if you're not checking out Derek Devin of Moko Mania, I think last Friday, they are our stream team leaders extraordinaires. Please go drop them that follow. Yes, we were, because we just had a raid from a beautiful bubble artist. So they use bubbles to paint on canvas, and we always tell artists that come in to share art and to shart over at y'all's community, because that is the absolute best place to show off art. Found them during the peeping part. Oh, very nice. And Dare, we got them to 50 followers tonight. We got them to 50 followers, so I'm very, very excited about that. Because we're it's the whole mission. We're sharing the love, guys. Speaking of love, make sure to follow Derek and Devin. They are supermodels extraordinaire. There they are, right there. There's Dare, and there's Dev, and there's Captain Moko right there. Look at these supermodels. They're actually on billboards in the mean streets of Philadelphia.
Who let the ants out? Let's go!
Go drop them a follow, chat. Go drop them a follow. Beautiful people. Your home? Yeah. Spectre. They are in the Philadelphia area. So, it's like you have the power. Their basketball team play their heart out. Is that a good thing? I'm not keeping up with any basketball. Not because I don't want to, but, it's just... Usually, if the Premier League season ends, then I will start looking at stuff more again with different sports. But there's 2 games left of the season. Oh, you're trolling? I got you, Smikes. I'm very off the my basketball game, as it were. So not intentional, but no one is ever near my other home, the Vegas home. We do love you, Spectre Flight. We do love you very much. Dare's team lost to my team. Who is your team, Smikes? I do not know your basketball team, my friend. Oh, gotcha, Spectre. I thought that was a home as well. Misawa. I don't know what that is, Spectre. Exact opposite of yours is the Celtics. I'm so sorry, Dare, that you have to lose to the Celtics. It's something Boston related, which is terrible. I'm very sorry. Are you the 76ers then? I always cheer against anything Boston. Not because I have anything against the team itself. I just really don't like Boston. Like living there, personally. Alright, guys. That's actually a good place to round out the evening. Let us wrap up the scope when we review what we found tonight. Unfortunately, again, no tardigrades. But again, bunch of fancy things that we saw tonight. So let me quickly... We'll jump back to the other chair. We'll revisit what we saw, and then we'll raid after the evening. We'll go have dinner with the lovely Lita and little baby Alana. I can put her little pillow back in her chair. This chair next to me is where she hangs out during the day. Sometimes. She's usually in my lap, but if she's not in my lap, she's either on this chair with her little fancy pillow, or she's over in her chair. It vibrates and plays music, which is apparently perfect for a baby, and it brings so much joy to my heart, just like Smikes' joke, too. You say you're hungry for dinner? Oh, Smikes, we all know that I'm hungry for some greasy turkey served in a bowl of china, or made of china with a side of chili. Yeah. I think there's one more, Smikes. Greasy turkey, side of chili served in some china. I think there's another food one. I'm blanking on it. I think there's another food one. But yeah, before we review what we did today, I'm going to put up a quick poll of where to go. What are y'all feeling tonight? So, there is, on the menu, there is music. And then there is... Double check. They have not rated out or anything. That person has. Okay, so we have music and we have games on the menu for tonight. If y'all would like music or games, you can go ahead and vote on where we're gonna go. There you go. No, all Gucci, Smikes, all Gucci. I feel like butt, is that an... So, Ariella, there probably are... Actually, Ariella, there are some, what do you want to call it? Some streamers on right now who do hot tubs. But we never rated a hot tub streamer before. So, Chad, what all did we do tonight? We looked at a couple of different amber samples. The first one was quite terrible, in that we had no idea what to see from one side because it was totally obstructed, right? Like, it was just bubbles upon bubbles, and there's no visibility to be able to be gotten. When we did able to take a look, we were missing a fair bit of detail here, right? Like, of what exactly is going on in this sample. It looked kind of like a termite, but the antennae were wrong. Its body was difficult to see because of all the bubbles. The wing features were hard to see. The eyes. We tried turning it on its side a couple of times and a couple of different angles, but really didn't get any more information. So we're a little bit stuck on really what this might be. I think we ended up just leaning towards an uncharacterized insect of some sort. It also looked like it had multiple wings. Ariel, you want? I can do it. Hold on, Ariel. The custom one-of-a-kind Antonia plushie. Maybe there will be a Kevin plushie one day, Ariella. I think NMD would squeal over a Kevin plushie. But you never know. There could one day be a Kevin plushie. No!
Where's my drink?
Pour
What drink?
No. Why? Ariella, there's no sorry. You have redemptions here to have fun. Ariella, you have those gifts that you can play to have fun. You do all these things here so you can have fun. Thank you for the hydrate, Rebecca. There are no sorries. There's only nerfing. If I wouldn't want there to be fun, I wouldn't have done all this stuff.
Sorry.
There's Barty here having a beverage item with us as well. There's Bardaki. Hi, Barty! Oh, he disappeared. Poor Barty.
You can't
You're doing
rush
this.
art.
We do crazy things here, Ariella. All the things. Okay, so mystery amber in this piece, but we did find exactly Smikes. Smikes, you shocked Ellie. Smikes, you shocked Ellie. I am shocked that you shocked Ellie, Smikes. Oh, it's fine. I'm okay with it, Smikes, but she did get shocked there. She got a little bit shocked there. You got a little bit shocked. This one was much easier to identify. This was a gnat. And the way we can identify, again, is the length of the antennal structure, which is kind of cool to be able to see that. And, yeah, it kind of brought a little bit more light on everything. Saphira's Mama. Hi, Saphira's Mama 32. Welcome on in. How are you doing today? Guy looks trapped. So, Ariella, this is a trapped look, because if we zoom out, you can see there's a lot of imperfections running in the amber. Are you curious? Yes, we are ending soon, Texas Cryptid. We are rounding out the evening just now. Apologize for anyone rating him, but yes, we are about to end. I have to go grab some dinner with the family. Appreciate you. Danielle Naruto, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Pfizer, it is a piece of amber. We're just reviewing what we went over tonight. I'm sorry you're sore, Saphira's Mama. I live in a state of perpetual soreness, unfortunately. Yes, Pfizer, you know the drill, and you know how we go. You know the Discord has all the scheduling, and you know we usually end around 10:30. It's a little extra there. A zoology degree, very cool, Saphira's Mama. I have a degree in molecular and systems biology, PhD from Dartmouth. All right. So we're going to music. Alrighty, we're going to have some music tonight. So we looked at the amber. We also looked at raw, unpolished amber tonight, which is quite cool to look. Yes, Ariella. Well, because Ariella, we started at 6:30. Yep, no worries, Pfizer. You know when we go live. It's all in the Discord, on the schedule. It's also on the Twitter and all the socials. So I hope it never comes as a surprise of when we end. Thank you, Rebecca, for being here. So we also looked at different angles when we found the halteres. We also looked at some pond water samples, ostracods we found some worms, and a bunch of other life in the pond water as well. And they were quite cool to see. If you like any of the images that you saw today, make sure to join up in the Discord. All the images are posted there on the Discord, and then also